them in there are desperate for some advice.
I've seen them all looking at me.
Have a look at them. Where are they going tonight, eh?
See, that's
Library.
Yes, we're going to the library.
That's the argument on that one. You know, the workaholic, isn't it? Do you want to go to Butlins or Barbados on holidays?
Yeah, I hear that, but I suppose if you go to Barbados, you don't want to go by yourself. You want to go with a partner.
Exactly. It's a trade-off.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to have to. I don't want him enjoying this, but little Sam, and I mean little Sam's coming in a minute, and Limpy Crookie's coming in as well. So, you want to hang about a bit, guys, and talk to Charlene or not? No.
They all look nervous now.
You need any help? Any help there, lads?
Listen, thank you very much
You're
for coming in.
welcome.
Thanks
You're
for coming
welcome.
in.
My pleasure.
And have a great night tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't work too hard.
I won't.
Positive vibes. I can feel them in the room.
Good,
What's
good.
a smile? Beautiful smile.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, guys. Blessed to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dino, that's it. We're
Yeah.
done for the day, mate. Where are you the weekend, mate?
I am. I've got. What I'm going to watch Cardiff.
Are you?
Yeah, top of the league, Cardiff. Going well. We need all the Welsh clubs. Wrexham are doing well.
Katie's
Swansea
down
are doing
there.
well.
Katie's-
Katie's going to Cardiff. And hopefully Newport County can get away from the bottom of their league. And then we've got Merthyr Tydfil are doing well. Do you know that? They're in the English system.
Okay.
Merthyr. So we need all the Welsh because the rugby team's struggling. Can you help the rugby team, by the way? Get in the dressing room, give me a team talk.
It depends what they need help with, but yeah, I could try.
We need everything we got.
Charlene, have a great weekend. I'm back on Wednesday morning. Dino will probably see in another 3 months.
Yeah, I know. I'll be warming
Gentlemen.
up outside, Al.
No,
I'll just
you're
be
welcome,
stretching out in London Bridge.
Okay, Crookie and Little Sam coming up next. Don't go away. And by the way, if you're out Valentine's, have a great time and a great weekend of sports. Enjoy yourself. And I'll speak again 6 o'clock Wednesday morning. Don't forget, tomorrow, Virgin Radio from 6 to 10 and then 10 to 2. I bid you farewell.
Alan Brazil's Lessons in Love on talkSPORT with Moonpig. Save Valentine's with Moonpig. Flowers and a personalised card for under £20 delivered in time. Terms and conditions apply.
There he is.
Hey, can you
There
do
he
it?
is.
Hey, can you do it? Up the shelf. Up the shelf.
Yeah. So I've only got the top.
Last night you won't get me on.
No, I've only got the table. Only got the top 5 here, Mo. In the table.
Listen,
Yeah.
Candy. I've got some breaking news. I've got some breaking news for Jimmy G. Jimmy G, I've got some breaking news for you, lad.
Come on.
Guess what? My sources are reporting tonight that Arnie Slot has been approached by Tottenham Hotspur.
talkSPORT
Now-
breaking news.
Sorry, who?
Now,
Who?
Arnie Slot, my manager, the Premier League winning manager, Tottenham like him. They want him to come and build a side to win Jimmy G the Premier League. Am I correct, Jimmy G?
100% Mo, mate. You do come on here and talk some garbage, but this is up there, all right? You're coming on talking absolute nonsense.
Jimmy G, listen. It's the truth, man. What do you mean garbage?
Your sources, mate, they're
Listen,
probably
Jimmy,
up there with the worst
you know
sources
what?
ever.
You need to apologise to me and my sources when this happens. I'm telling you. Because, you know, like, look, Spurs are back, yeah? They're
Spurs are
always
back, mate. We're ready to go
they're
again.
always back, yeah? And at the end of the day, like Candy says, what is it, Candy? To do what to do?
No,
What do you
the
normally
dare is to
say?
do nothing. They
That's
do
it.
nothing.
That's
What about
it.
your mob,
They
though,
want a
mate? It's a
Premier
good
League
result tonight. You know, is the quad back on? Is it?
What is on? Listen, stop taking Mick out of my quad. Yeah, quad is for next year. The
What is
double's on this year. The double.
Is
What a
the
performance
quad
by
on?
the champions. What a
What is
performance by the champions. Nobody's gone to Roker Park and anywhere.
Roker Park?
Oh, sorry.
What year?
Stadium
Like
Live.
1985?
talkSPORT Sports Update powered by the Nissan Van Range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Your headlines at 6 minutes past 10. I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Mikel Arteta's told us Arsenal's poor finishing was to blame for drop points at Brentford. Former gunner Adrian Clark hopes they don't rue all these missed chances come the end of the season.
Someone like Gabriel Martinelli has had a good season, okay? He's come up with some really big moments, but obviously he had that big chance right at the end there, and you're looking for him to tuck that away. He had a similar chance at Nottingham Forest, another game that Arsenal dropped points in.
Arsenal's lead at the top now, just 4. Brentford, 4 points off a probable Champions League place. Here's Keith Andrews.
I'm not going to speak about that. There is 12 games left, but I do promise you we're going to attack every single one of them and push and continue to push really hard to see how much we can achieve this year. That's a long way off.
More good news for Brentford fans. Striker Igor Thiago's extended his contract by 5 years, keeping him at the club till 2031. Now, Michael O'Neill is expected to manage Blackburn till the end of the season. He'll combine that role with his Northern Ireland job. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian skeleton pilot, who's banned from the Winter Olympics over his crash helmet of remembrance, is having his appeal heard with CAS. Vladislav Heraskevich was told he couldn't wear the helmet covered in pictures of Ukrainian war dead while he's competing.
I believe I didn't violate any rules, so therefore I shouldn't be suspended, and I should be today part of the Olympic Games.
A decision is expected later out in Milan. And Wales have handed a Six Nations debut to Leicester back row Ollie Cracknell. He'll start at number 8 against France. 4 changes for Wales from the heavy defeat to England. Props Rhys Carey and Thomas Francis also start. Joe Hawkins plays at inside centre. More at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
There are claims a victim of Jeffrey Epstein was flown into the UK and taken to Buckingham Palace to meet Andrew. And after weeks of wet weather, time to brace yourself for an Arctic blast. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Whatever the winter weather, Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres. Guaranteed for 25,000 miles. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Rain continues to move southwards, with Northern Ireland and Scotland seeing some sunshine today. Snow showers around the coasts, across the south staying wet and cloudy, but eventually clearing later.
Hello, very good morning to you. It is Friday. It's Fun Boy Friday with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and the former Villa striker Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live on talkSPORT through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. So Arsenal missed the chance to restore their 6-point lead at the top of the Premier League title with a draw away at Brentford. Is this the reminder of the pressure that comes with being in the title race? And history isn't always Arsenal's friend. Can they change that this season? We'll get the boys' view on last night's game in just a second. Meanwhile, Thomas Tuchel has signed a new deal with England and his attention is turning to the March internationals. Who's going to be in the squad? Will 1, 2 or 3 of Manchester United's in-form trio be back in the fold? And can Harvey Barnes make his case after turning down Scotland? Also today, Nottingham Forest closing on Vitor Pereira as their new manager for at least until the end of the season. Raheem Sterling comes in from the cold. And do Tottenham dare to do, as the motto goes, or is Ange right? He says they're not a big club. This is Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. We're live on talkSPORT. It's a very good morning to you. Gabby Agbonlahor is here. It's Friday the 13th. Thank you very much for coming in costume.
Oh, Friday the 13th brings back memories at school.
Does it? Of what?
The older years used to give us a dead arm, dead legs at school.
What, just because it was Friday the 13th?
Yeah, whenever it was Friday the 13th.
What kind of school did you go to?
Yeah, it was chaos, mate, but here we are. Here we are.
You emerged to come into this instead.
Yes, exactly. Where you used to pick on me.
A bit of a schoolboy environment itself. Crookmeister, you all right? Had a good week?
I'm good. 11 minutes past 10. I don't know what's later, this show or Captain Liability's tackle on Casemiro last weekend.
Oh, well, it's not to do with us. It was because they were trying to address your failings. Limpy Crooky.
Limpy Crooky. That'll never catch on. That'll never catch on.
It definitely will.
To be fair, I have got a hamstring injury this week, so that might be what it is.
Yeah?
Chasing after a taxi who I thought was robbing me the other day.
Hold on, Mrs. Crook's calling. Right, okay, let's talking about failings. Last night, Arsenal drew with Brentford away from home. Look, did Arsenal's title race stall at the bus stop in Hounslow, or after Villa, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Manchester United all lost there this season? Do you have to recognise that going away to Brentford and getting a point is actually quite a good result, Gabby?
No. I'll look at the squad of players that Arsenal have got. Look at their title race. 9 points out of a possible 18, last 6 games. It's showing cracks at the moment. First half, Sam, one shot Arsenal had. One of the most boring first halves I've watched. Credit to Brentford. I thought they were fantastic. Arsenal, second half, come out and they started to up the tempo a little bit more, but the overall game, Brentford unlucky to not win the game. So for me, it's not a good point. The cracks are showing. Manchester City squad is getting stronger. Injuries are coming back. Are Arsenal trying their hardest to throw this league away?
Well, I'll talk about Manchester City a little bit later on because I saw them on Wednesday night and they were particularly impressive. And you're right about the signings. But I wonder what Arsenal fans feel about last night. If they're frustrated or if they're actually satisfied with the point. 03717 223344. You can text us 81089 as well. Gabby was right, I think, about the fact that Arsenal didn't do enough in the first half. I actually thought it was still a good game because Brentford played so well. Yeah. The second half was a fantastic watch. It really was, right to the very end. Only 2 shots on target, though, for Mikel Arteta's team. They've been plotting their way through the season methodically, strategically. But when they need to step it up, when they need to power past the team, have they got that extra gear?
I don't think so. Not based on what we saw last night. I think what we're seeing is that they're trying to methodically plot their course to a first championship in more than 2 decades. And I think that could come back to haunt them, that cautiousness, that pragmatism, because they've still got to go to Manchester City, which I think is going to be a defining game for the season. If City can get to within 2 or 3 points by the time they meet at the Etihad, it's going to be all up for grabs. And do Arsenal then have the ability to suddenly change a gear and go and try and really take City to the sword? I'm not seeing it at the moment. That didn't strike me last night as the performance of potential champions. You said the first shot on target was the goal. Martinelli's had a chance at the end that maybe he should have done better with, but they didn't impose themselves enough on the game. And Gabby's right, City getting stronger. You look at Gay now coming in and shoring up the defence. I think Semenyo's been an exceptional piece of business in January. I'm worried for Arsenal, and their fans are worried. Mrs. Crook is a big gooner. I was sort of watching the darts and the football on split screens last night, but she was very focused on the football. And even at 0-0, I said, you will score in a minute. I think you will get a goal. No, we've blown it. We're not good enough to win the league. And that seems to be the mindset of Arsenal fans, Gabs.
Yeah.
Whereas City fans are a lot more relaxed.
But is that down to history, Gabby? Is that down to history? 100%. Because if you look at the last 5 seasons, on only one occasion have Arsenal won 10 of their final 12 Premier League matches. In those seasons, the Gunners have never won more points in the final 12 games of a campaign than the team that eventually went on to win the title. Does that play on the minds not only of the fans, but of the players as well?
100% it does. And these players aren't used to winning Premier League titles.
They're used to losing Premier League titles.
Manchester City are, and there's no real pressure on Manchester City to win the Premier League this season. That helps as well. The pressure's all on Arsenal. When you've heard Pep speak in recent weeks, he's like, we will be there. We have to wait for maybe Arsenal to slip up. And that's what they've done. Yes, they've got Wolves away next. You'd think they'd win that comfortably. But if you look at the remaining fixtures, there's games there that you say, OK, Arsenal can drop points.
Do you know what I think could be massive? The outcome of the League Cup final. And that might sound ridiculous because of all the trophies that Arsenal are competing for. Obviously, that is the least important. But the fact they're playing Manchester City in a cup final, if City win that game, psychologically, that's a massive blow. It reminds me of the treble winning season when Arsenal should have probably beaten Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-final.
got knocked out by that wonder goal from Ryan Giggs, missed a penalty through Bergkamp. They won nothing. United won the treble.
Who had 7 minutes, by the way, for Crook to turn a Arsenal debate into a Manchester.
I think it's a fair point, is it not? Whoa! Just smashed the mic.
Punch the mic, Crook here.
Got a little bit irritated, Crook.
So
calm yourself down.
But it's a fair point, isn't it? I think psychologically.
It's 30 years ago, slightly different. But I think the bigger game is actually the game that the two play at the Etihad Stadium. Because if we remember back to the first game that they played earlier in the campaign, Pep put 10 men behind the ball, tried desperately to try and stop Arsenal from winning. It's going to be a different match up there.
Will be. Yeah, because I just look at the defence options they've got now. You've got O'Reilly or Aitnouri at left back. Nunez at right back is doing very well. You've got Stones on the bench now available. Kushinov is obviously on the bench as well. Diaz and Gabby are starting defence. He's got options now, Pep, in that squad. And also, I think Arsenal, yesterday's the sort of game that you want your striker to go and get you a goal. Gyökeres, the flat trap bully. Like,
never in the game.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're playing against a decent defence, and look what happens.
But he couldn't get away from anyone. Again, I keep saying this. He cannot get away from the top-level defenders, and that is a problem at this level, isn't it?
You need that yard. Look at Haaland's goal midweek. Little touch to the left, bang, in the corner. You know what I mean? Gyökeres hasn't got that yard of pace to create his own goals. The goals that he scored this season, penalties, and against weak opposition. When he plays against proper defenders, and Brentford have been fantastic in recent weeks. Against Villa, they were great. At Villa Park, against Newcastle as well. Defending defending like their lives depended on it. And last night, same again. It was more the opposite defenders for Arsenal. Gabriel, Mosquera, Timber, and Hincapie.
I think they looked a little bit shaky last night. Yeah,
That block from Mosquera was unbelievable.
I think it started with one of the first back passes of the game where Gabriel rolls the ball to Raya, and it's the wrong pass that goes out for a corner. There was another ball that he played to Raya. Raya allows it to go under his toes. Mosquera looked a little bit like shaky at times, but he did make a great block, a great recovery on Thiago at the end. Declan Rice's touch to take the ball off of Damsgaard's toes. Unbelievable.
Declan Rice was fantastic.
He was
again,
fantastic.
by the way. Everywhere
he looked dead on his feet by the end of the game, though.
They all did, because everybody. Do you know what? The other thing, and I do think this is worth pointing out, Brentford are a really good team. They're a really good team and very, very hard to beat. And everybody who's been there have found that out this season. So I think when we're sort of assessing Arsenal, we must remember that.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what I think they missed last night as well? And he was really good at the weekend. They missed the guile of Kai Havertz.
Yes.
Yep,
I think
and
he
he's going to be out
different.
for a little while now. He might not be available for the North London Derby, which is their next game in away in the Premier League.
Nice,
Actually, they play Wolves on Wednesday night live on talkSPORT. Don't start on Tottenham again. They haven't even got a manager, by the way. By the way, if you listen to the Premier League All Access podcast later, Crookie has put his hat into the ring to be the caretaker manager at Tottenham till the end of the season. Arsenal fans, 03717 2233 44 is the number to call. We'd love you to get in touch and have a word with us today. Remember, you can watch and listen to the show on YouTube or on your connected TV app. It's on the app as well, the talkSPORT app, which you can download. And we're here through till 1 o'clock with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at selcobw.com. Your calls are next.
My view of punditry is when I listen to a pundit, whoever that pundit might be, whatever they may be, whether it's male, female, black, white, yellow, green, it's do I learn something from them? Do they engage me? Do I find them interesting and entertaining? And do they merit my attention? And that's my response to the reasons why I was saying the things I said.
He's
sitting right beside you.
Yeah, I you know, it's an opinion, isn't it? Which we're all entitled to. I put value on opinions. right? You have to, because there's,
Depends where they come from, right?
everybody has them, right? So I'm not going to listen to a mob on X who've never, ever put themselves in any situation to do anything close to what I've done in my career. I listen to the professionals, right? I listen to the people who've hired me for the last 11 years around the world, the biggest broadcasters in the world. By default, if I'm working with the people who are considered the brilliant broadcasters, then if I'm in the same team as them, next to them, then by default, I'm considered also a brilliant broadcaster. So I take everything you're saying, but the reality is I've been good enough for 11 years, right? And as I said, I'm the person that will go and seek out feedback for someone to go, I think you're struggling. It's never happened.
See, the language that you use, Annie, is, to me, it's steeped in a sense of entitlement. I mean, the sheer weight of the entitlement that you seem to believe that you have would resink the Titanic. I think you've been quite fortuitous. I think because of initiatives like DEI, they've allowed people to be put into positions in the men's game that I don't think they've merited. And now that sort of seeds an attitude that you become a stalwart in the women's game.
Good morning to you. I hope you're well. It's Sam Matterface with Alex Crook and with Gabby Agbonlahor. We're here till 1. We're talking Arsenal after last night's 1-1 draw away at Brentford. Arsenal win the season, says Reese, without a trophy. I have no doubt they have the quality of Harrods, but the mentality of a cart boot sale. When it comes to it, they fail. Forest away was pivotal because they had the chance to really take advantage of City's defeat to Manchester United, and they failed. They failed to beat the teams they should beat, and it's been like that for the past few seasons. The City win at Anfield showed that they knew that they were going to win it. Arsenal and City both have the same points over the last 3 games. Over the last 8, Arsenal have more. Let's be real here, says Adam. The issue is, though, Adam, not what's happened over the last 8, it's what happens over the next day. And Arsenal's next day see them take on Wolverhampton Wanderers live on talkSPORT away from home, go away to Tottenham, at home to Chelsea, away to Brighton, Everton at home, Bournemouth at home, and Manchester City away. Whereas for Manchester City, they've got Newcastle, Leeds, Forest, West Ham, Chelsea, Palace, Arsenal and Burnley. So let's see what happens over those 8 fixtures. I'd hazard a guess that game between the two of you is the most important. I fell asleep in the first half. As an Arsenal fan, I feel slightly disappointed, says Rosinia. Arsenal are where Manchester United were in 1991. They need an Eric Cantona to take them to the next level. James in Dorset. Is that James your mate, James? It might be. Right, let's get to the callers and speak to Femi, who's an Arsenal fan, and Ibra too. Let's start with Femi. What do you want to say to Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor?
Yeah, I'm just surprised at you guys writing Arsenal's obituary this morning. We're not dead yet. There's plenty of life left in this team. Yes, it wasn't a very easy game for Arsenal yesterday, and I must commend Brentford on their game yesterday, but there's still plenty of life left, and we are going to win the league. Our form this season has been very good. and we've been very consistent. And I believe that we can go up to City and win there, and City are going to drop points as well. So it's not a foregone conclusion. It was a bad performance yesterday, but if you look back at many teams as they go through and winning the league or winning a championship, Man City, Liverpool in the past, great teams, they all have games where they draw or don't perform up to the standard. That was Arsenal yesterday, but we'll get back. Look at our last 2 games against Leeds and Sunderland. We were exemplary and we played really good football. So there's still life left in this team. We're going to win the league. I'm very confident of that.
Femi, I don't think anyone was right in your obituary. I think what we said was, did Arsenal stall last night, or because of the results that Villa, Liverpool, Manchester United and Newcastle got there, do we have to record this as a good point for Arsenal? So that was the question. I mean, Crook might have written your obituary, but he writes everyone's obituary every other week.
Okay, let me answer that. I just think it was just a temporary setback. And look, we saw that Liverpool lost there and Villa lost there. Brentford are a very good team. Arsenal will bounce back. Teams like Brighton and Chelsea will want to come out at Arsenal, and City when we go to Etihad. We can win at the Etihad. You saw Pep when they played Arsenal at the Emirates put 10 men behind the ball. He'll be fearful of Arsenal.
So
and
you're
Arsenal
judging
will
yourself
go there.
on what Villa and Liverpool did against Brentford?
Sorry?
Are you judging yourself of what Liverpool and Villa?
I'm not judging. I'm judging Arsenal on what they've done in the last few months.
Oh.
We have nothing to fear. We have nothing to fear. I don't fear any team in the Premier League. In fact, I think we can go. No, I don't fear. I don't fear City. We can go to City and beat them.
I mean, just looking at your league games though since the turn of the year, and this is just off the top of my head. Obviously, lost at home to United.
Right.
Narrow victory away at Bournemouth, as you've already mentioned. Drop points at Forest. Needed an own goal to beat Wolves. Am I right in saying that?
But City have drawn a lot of games
Just
as well.
before
They
Christmas?
I know, but City haven't been performing so well either. It's in the balance.
Yeah, City drew with Brighton, didn't they, over the New Year period? They lost to Manchester United away from home. They ended up throwing away a 2-goal lead at Tottenham not so long ago. So no one's been perfect, that's for sure. 03717223344. Keep the calls coming. Andy's an Arsenal fan. Let's squeeze Andy in before the break. Hello, Andy. What do you want to say?
Hi there, guys. Good morning. Well, I'm an old man who's supported Arsenal all his life, and I just want to say that I fear for Arsenal again because I genuinely believe that Mikel Arteta's sets out his team not to lose. Not to lose. Whereas Man City set out to win. And I don't know how you win something by setting out not to lose. And this is the problem we have every year. We get towards the end, and he thinks that by not losing, getting a draw, will be all right. But every time you draw now and the other team wins, you drop 2 points in the Premier League.
Yep.
And so he's got a tried and tested method of failing. And if my reasons for believing that are, first of all, I've never believed he's going to get us over the line after his first full season. If you look back, I believe there was a moment. There was 8 games left to play. Arsenal were in 4th place. We were 5 points clear of the team in 5th, and we had a game in hand, and we still managed to finish 5th. And every season since then has been the same.
That was when you went to Newcastle and lost, wasn't it? I mean, I think he's got a great point because you compare. We were there, Sam, for both games. You compare Manchester City's performance at Anfield to Arsenal's performance at Anfield earlier in the season. Mikel Arteta went there to not get beaten. Pep Guardiola went to Anfield at the weekend, even at 1-0 down,
Slightly different,
to try and win the game.
Manchester City are in a situation now where they have to win almost every game. They have to attack it, whereas Mikel Arteta has come up with a strategy where he's plotting his way through the course of the
I think
season
it's risky,
strategically.
and I think if they don't win it,
it's
it'll
a
be on the
low-risk
manager gaps.
approach in terms of the fact that he's trying not to play gambling football, but it could be one that backfires.
Yeah, it could be, yes. And like we mentioned earlier, I think they are going to miss Havertz. I really do, because when I look at Gyökeres, and I know people might say you're getting on to Gyökeres, but I look at his contributions this season: 8 Premier League goals, 3 against Leeds, 1 against Forest, 1 against Burnley, 1 against Everton, 2 against Sunderland. 2 of those 8 Premier League goals have been penalties. I'm sure both of them was a gift because of his confidence being down. When I watch him, hasn't got the yard of pace to get past the player, very good at holding the ball up, bringing others into play, but he's not the elite striker that's going to take Arsenal on to win the big competitions for me.
Is this an overreaction to dropping 2 points at a very good Brentford yesterday, or are Arsenal fans feeling the pressure? 037172233. 444. Carl, the Manchester City fan, says, how can anyone be confident Arsenal can beat City away? They couldn't beat us at home. City are getting stronger and they have a winner's mentality. 03717 2233 44. Jason says, Brentford at home are tough. We're 4 clear, potentially 7 clear by the time that City play next. Lots of twists and turns to go. Their next game, by the way, is live on talkSPORT. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers on Wednesday night. Before that, they play Wigan in the FA Cup on Sunday, also live on talkSPORT, because we've got an absolute smorgasbord of live football from the Cup this weekend. Make sure you join us for that. Calls gone absolutely crazy this morning, so we'll stick with those. We'll get you on next.
It's coming in that Thomas Tuchel is set to stay as England boss until 2028.
Oh, well
Hold
done.
on.
New deal.
Let me work this
Fantastic.
one. How does, with a great respect, I'm not going to go at Thomas Tuchel, but the World Cup, the big test, is yet to come. How can you give him an extension?
Do you know why? Because there's so many clubs looking for a manager. Maybe they've got in touch and the FA have thought, let's extend his contract. But the problem is, Al, we lose in the last 16. What are you going to do then?
Gabby,
you've got to go.
England, the manager of England.
Incredible, isn't it?
People would go on their knees to
Exactly.
Wembley to get it.
Exactly.
So what the hell?
That
is
sums
this
the FA
about?
up.
Who's making these
That
decisions?
sums the FA up, Al. Because you beat countries that you should have been beating in the qualifiers. You've been given a new deal, maybe because Manchester United need a manager. Look at Spurs now. It's incredible, but are we surprised, Al?
Well, I'm annoyed, to be honest. It shouldn't bother me because I'm Scottish, but I'm like, who makes these things up?
Exactly.
Gabby, how far, in your opinion, your expectations in America? Yeah, we know it's going to be warm.
To heat, yeah.
England, have England got to get to a semi, or has it been a disappointment?
I'm sick of saying that, Al, to be honest. I'm sick of saying, we get to a semi, then you know what? Thomas Tuchel to lead us into the Euros. No, we have to win it. I'm not having the conditions. I'm not having it. Like Chelsea went and won the Club World Cup, didn't they? In the conditions. I know that wasn't the hardest of competitions to go and win, but we have to, Al.
Stuart Pearce says Arsenal's draw at Brentford was a good point for the Gunners, but
where they would probably be slightly disappointed, the downside of that is probably their attacking play and not being able to open up Brentford.
Well, Arsenal's lead is now just 4 points. Meanwhile, Brentford are just 4 points off a possible Champions League place. The Bees midfielder, Matthias Jensen, has told us playing against Mikel Arteta's side demands plenty.
Top players all around. The bench is top quality players, so you got to be on it throughout the whole 90 minutes plus. So definitely very, very demanding.
Well, Brentford go to Macclesfield next. That FA Cup 4th round tie is live on talkSPORT on Monday night. Meanwhile, Arsenal host Wigan live on talkSPORT 2 on Sunday. We've got a grand total of 10 cup games live for you on the talkSPORT network this weekend. Elsewhere, we understand Michael O'Neill will be named Blackburn manager till the end of the season. He'll combine that role with his Northern Ireland job. Barnet boss Dean Brennan has got a 9-match touchline ban, a £2,000 fine and been sent on a course. The FA has ruled Brennan verbally abused female ref Kirsty Dow and referenced her gender. And Tyson Fury's boxing comeback against Arslanbek Makhmudov will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on April the 11th.
It's talkSPORT, Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor, who has just given Crookie a warning because we said we've got hundreds of calls coming in. We've got to get through them.
That could be a second booking for me because the ref gave me a yellow card on the way in because apparently we had too much fun last week and now Gabby's felt my collar.
Yeah, Gabby's felt your collar. He said to Crookie, no story time, we've got to get to the callers.
That's because yesterday he said it was too hot for England to win the World Cup this summer.
It was too hot?
It's going to be too hot.
I said the climate would count against them, correct?
Do you think they probably prepare for that? We'll come on to England.
Well, they're not prepared for it in previous World Cups in hot destinations. How did that work out?
Okay, well, obviously you prepared yourself because you got your cowboy hat and your cowboy boots.
and the outdoor swimming pool in Dallas. Don't worry about that.
In Dallas, yeah. Right, we'll get onto that very shortly. England, not his outdoor swimming pool. Talk about Anfield all you like. Negative Crookie. We smashed Spurs at home 4-1 and City lost at home to them. Swings and roundabouts. A big overreaction to a hard-fought draw and atmospheric ground under the lights. City to stumble under the lights away to Leeds at the end of the month. All psychological. And at the moment, we're the ones who are 4 points clear. Jokerid's done well last night against the physical Brentford side. Ran the channels. Held the ball up well. Too many gagging for him to fail. And I'll have any money he outscores Gabby's highest Prem total and the seasons to come. That's from Ryan. I'm not being funny. To be fair to you, Ryan, you're not exactly taking a tough bet there, though, are you? Let's be honest.
I didn't take pens as well.
What was your top scoring season in the Premier League?
Was it 13? No pens, left wing.
He does have 13 goals already, although only 8 of those are in the Premier League.
How many penalties?
5 more.
So take away the 2 penalties on 6.
Why
7 more.
You still have to score the penalties.
Yeah, but come on. He got gifted it.
Why didn't you take them?
Because there was better penalty takers than me.
No, because
you remember that when he took the pens, they were all hugging him like, there you go, Jokerid's, go and score. There's the ball.
I think you're being disrespectful. 03717 4. Let's speak to Gary and Ibra. Ibra, go first. What do you want to say to Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook?
Oh, morning, guys. Well, look, he's just raised an argument about Jokerid's not scoring goals and only scoring penalties. It takes guts and determination to score a penalty under pressure. So that's not an easy thing. But my main point is, look, we're 4 points clear. We were 3 points clear at the start of the night, and we ended up being another point.
Yeah, but you were 6 points clear at the start of the week.
Yeah, but this is football. You guys know this better than anyone. This is football. It fluctuates. It goes up and down. But it's every time Arsenal have a little blip or a little problem, everyone's like on the bandwagon. Oh,
that's life when you're top of the table. That's part of the things you have to navigate en route to winning the title. Comes with pressure being 4 points clear.
No, of course I agree with that, but every single player gets picked on. Like Gabby just mentioned, Havertz. We're going to miss Havertz. Well, does he not realise that Havertz hasn't played 90% of the season? He's been out. He's only come back the last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, but is he not the kind of player that you need in those tight matches when you're trying to get over the line? Someone who has won a major trophy elsewhere, someone who can, provide a little bit of culture, a little bit of class in those key moments. I think that's the point. You say everyone's got honing in and picking on players individually. Actually, we've picked out the fact that there were some brilliant pieces of defending last night. Declan Rice's performance has been praised. Mosquera coming up with that wonderful moment at the end of the game where he manages to nick the ball off of Thiago. So it was a good. There were some good parts of that performance as well, and it is a tough place to go, Brentford. But what the question we've been asking is do they have that extra gear when they really need to power past the team and get the job done? Have they got it? Gary, have they got it?
Yeah, I think they've got it. We're still up there with 4 points clear. It was disappointing yesterday. The biggest disappointment was for me was the substitution of Saka coming on for Matterface. He just scored. He was up for the game. He got his confidence by the goal, and we know Saka had been injured. Why not leave him on the bench, see how the game goes? We got Wigan coming up. We could have introduced him back into that. I thought he came on. He looks a little bit jaded, not up on his game just yet. Tough game to come back into. And I think the game changed at that point.
Do you know what as well? I've been there before where you've been about to come on as a sub. Saka was about to come on before Madueke scored. Then he scores, and then the manager makes the change still, when really he should say, OK, Madueke scored now, confidence, keep him on. I agree, Saka maybe should have come on later in the game.
Also, Gabs, do you think it's a good idea that he came on when they had the corner. Do you think you should not really bring players on when you got a set piece against?
No, you shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't win a set pieces. That's always been a golden rule.
I think, and when you're 1-0 up, isn't it a time to make a sub when you waste a little couple of seconds and in open play, things like that? I thought it was a bad time for a sub.
Yes.
So are you a bit concerned, Gary, about Saka's form in general? I know he's had a lot of injuries this season, but I've just been sent a stat that Nottingham Forest have sacked more managers than Bukayo Saka has scored goals from open play this season.
Yes, I think Gabby probably knows. As a player, you do have these seasons where you're just not on it.
I never had any seasons like that.
He never had any seasons where he was on it.
Pre-season.
Gary, all right, thank you, Gary. We appreciate that.
Out of order.
0371 72233 44. Let's go to Martin, who's an Arsenal fan. It's not Martin Keown, is it? Hello?
It isn't Martin Keown, Sam. Dear.
Go on, Martin. What do you want to say?
So, Arsenal fan since 1971. I just don't enjoy watching the team the way they play. And one stat I'd love you guys to look at is how much time do we play in our own final third, going backwards and sideways? It seems that we can get to the edge of an opponent's box and then we work it all the way back to Raya. And the other point to raise is the elephant in the room, which is Eberechi Eze.
Yeah, we haven't got to that yet. We were going to raise that, actually, because he was taken off at half-time. He hadn't started any of the previous 9 Premier League games since that away trip to Aston Villa, which ended in late defeat. A game that could have gone either way, by the way, but it did go Aston Villa's way. And he was sort of guilty of not tracking Matt Cash for the first goal. Was given an opportunity last night and couldn't find his rhythm. How worrying is that for him?
Yeah, it's a concern, but it was always going to be a big step up. Crystal Palace to Arsenal. He was the big fish in a small pond, and now he isn't. And I think his confidence has been dented by the fact that Mikel Arteta seems to have lost a bit of faith in him since that Aston Villa game. I think he's played 15 games since then, and it's, well, including that game, no goals, no assists. So the numbers aren't great. But listen, he's obviously a talented player, and he will improve. But at the moment, maybe the pressure of a title race and the pressure of that Arsenal shirt is just weighing a bit too heavily.
He's not scored in any game since he registered a hat-trick in the North London derby, which almost feels like his high point so far. In his last 2 Premier League starts against Wolves in December and against Brentford, he has been removed from the game after 57 and 45 minutes. And in both those matches, Arsenal had failed to have a single shot on target in the first half, which I think is probably a little bit of a concern. Our Arsenal fan here, Tom, these are worrying times, he says. A lot of our fans are deluded, saying last night was a good point, etc. They neglect to analyse the performance. The players look flat, and I wonder if they're bored of Arteta's drab, robotic style of play. No thrust, no vigour. They're just predictable with their phases of play. 03717 2233 44. It will be controversial, says Nicholas Garin, but I think Arteta should have been let go 2 years ago when he couldn't finish the job and win the Premier League, when they've been leading for most of the season. Similar to this season, last year it was even worse. It should have been his last chance. He's done well taking Arsenal back near the top, but as a manager, he is what he was like as a player. Good, but can't compete with the best in his position.
Just looking at the goal difference column, by the way. 2 in it now. Arsenal against Manchester City, I would level a bet that over the last final 12 games of the season, City go past Arsenal.
You weren't watching on Wednesday night then when I was doing the commentary of Manchester City when we kept talking about this, Joe Hart and I, in the second half of the game. They'd got 3 goals, and I was saying 2 more goals tonight.
Yeah, they declared a bit, didn't
they? And they go level. You know, put the foot to the floor here and really show Arsenal that you mean business.
And what about the point that you made to Pep Guardiola when you were chasing him down the tunnel at Anfield last week? That goal that they had disallowed could be vital, couldn't it, at the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, what happened was we were in the tunnel after the Anfield game. We were talking about that controversial third goal that was disallowed.
Pep, come back, Pep!
Wasn't quite like that. But it was a little bit desperate from me. I did go running down the tunnel to chase him and went, Pep, 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 Pep. And he went, what? And I said to him, I said, what happens if Arsenal win the title by 1 goal? He said, congratulations to Arsenal. I said, no, seriously, that goal that's been disallowed, if that stops you from winning the title, what will you do? And he said to me, he looked at me, steely glare, put his hand on my shoulder, he said, don't worry, we'll get more goals.
Sam, I said it after the actual game. I says, what if this game actually was the last game of the season?
Yeah. Well, that was after the actual game. It was in the tunnel.
No, I'm saying, no, after the game I said that, what if it was the last game of the season and
so we were saying.
Arsenal win it on goal difference?
Did you say it in a really high-pitched voice while shouting at the Manchester City manager?
Yeah. Just doing your job, Sam.
Do you know what? The only reason I had to do that, by the way, is because in the interview, Crook didn't ask him. So as I've said to him before, if you had asked the right questions, I wouldn't have had to make an idiot of myself. This is talkSPORT.
In the 2 high-profile times when I've accused anyone of racism or sexism, a High Court has agreed with me. A parliamentary committee has agreed with me. So, and I've got reams of evidence.
Oh, absolutely.
Of people.
You're talking about Mark Sampson and Joey Barton.
Right, but the point is, I'm not the person.
That's the extreme end of the equation, isn't it?
Right,
what is the point?
No, but
Go on,
my
Annie.
point is, that's also replicated online. So there's reams and reams of evidence of people online.
But you did it to me. You tell me. I don't have a problem with it because it's your opinion. You said to me about me that I'm a sexist.
No,
I don't think I am. I think I have a strident opinion. I have a daughter.
I think you pander to an audience.
Yeah, and that in itself could be considered to be something that people would. I could be robust in my rejection of it. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it, and I like you should do. I only take the value of a people's opinion from someone whose opinion I respect.
Yeah.
Your opinion isn't relevant to me, and my opinion to some extent shouldn't be relevant to you. And if you are strong in the views that you have, I admire you for having the strength of them. But everything that you seem to portray in life seems to be that every disadvantage that you have is because either you're a woman or because you're black, and it's got nothing to do with your contribution to the equation and the way that people perceive you.
I'll always take responsibility if I think I've done something wrong. I'm the first person to apologise if I think, I shouldn't have said that or that went the wrong way. You can find multiple examples of me apologising, but there is a reality that I do suffer sometimes a disadvantage because people abuse me for my identity. They don't actually focus on, I don't think she's a good person.
It's the Fun Boy 3 on a Friday with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. Yesterday, England were drawn in Group A3 of the Nations League with Spain, Croatia and Czechia, but that wasn't the big story of the day. The big story of the day was the extension of the contract of the England head coach. It was fascinating, actually, wasn't it? Because by signing a new deal, he sort of takes all the debate about his future off the table. Were you a little bit surprised, though, Alex Crook, that after saying that this was going to be a one and done, I'm here to win the World Cup and nothing more, that he ended up putting pen to paper on another 2-year contract?
Well, I'm smiling because Gabby and I had quite a heated conversation about this on breakfast yesterday. He felt that it's too soon. I think you said it's rewarding failure, which was a little bit harsh on
what have they found?
A manager who won every game en route to qualifying for the World Cup and didn't concede a single goal.
First time ever.
I said we rewarded Gareth Southgate for failure.
But you used it in the context of his new
knighting
contract for
him,
Tuchel.
Sir Gareth Southgate, for not winning anything. Thomas Tuchel, I says, we rewarded him too soon when we haven't set out and...
Well, first of all, the first thing is you're judging it by the wrong metric. You can't just say if you are not a successful England manager if you only win the World Cup or the European Championships. That might be the case now, but when Gareth Southgate took over, they just lost to Iceland and they sacked Sam Allardyce after one game. So they were in a bit of a bad predicament.
I'm sorry for...
They've taken England to be contenders again.
What was our run like? What was our runs like to the final? Was it comfortable or was it tough?
Here we go. What was the run like in 1966? Can you remember the route? Can you remember the route in 1990 when they got to the semi-final?
I was 20 years old.
Right, okay.
Do you know what? I'm going to have to defend Gabby here.
Forget that. We're getting into.
Can you defend me, Alex?
We're rehashing arguments.
Let's not Sam talk over us, Alex. Can you defend me for once?
We're moving on to Thomas Tuchel for a start. No, we're moving on to Thomas Tuchel. No, we're not. We're moving on because the producer is going crazy about it outside. Thomas Tuchel signing a contract. Is it because of the fact that the FA were concerned he was going to go somewhere else?
Listen, I think it is. You know, I certainly think he was on Manchester United's list. Who knows? Maybe he would have been on Tottenham's list as well. And I think that's why they had to get this done, because what you don't want, if you're the FA, and if you're an England fan, you don't want Thomas Tuchel going into the World Cup with constant speculation that he could be leaving for a Premier League club job at the end of the tournament. I think getting that out of the way, he can focus on the job in hand. I don't think England will win the World Cup. I think there's a lot that counts against England winning this World Cup.
What happens if we lose in the quarterfinals? Does he continue as England manager?
I think I don't think we should underestimate if he gets to the quarterfinal of a World Cup. When you go back pre-Gareth Southgate, which is your argument, we'd have bitten your hand off at the quarterfinal of a World Cup.
Are you going to defend me on that?
No, I'll defend you because I think Gareth Southgate should have won a European Championship. I think they should have beaten Italy in that final. However, pre-Gareth Southgate, England didn't get to quarterfinals and finals of European Championships. So and it's a tough draw, by the way. You talk about draws. I was there when the draw was made in Washington. England have got to take out some big hitters to get to a quarterfinal.
So where does he have to get to keep his job then?
I think the quarterfinal is par. I think anything beyond that is success. Do you agree?
The likelihood is that they're going to have to go to Mexico and play Mexico in Mexico City, which is going to be a difficult thing to do, although Mexico traditionally don't ever go any further than the last 16 of the World Cup. Then their quarterfinal, if everything goes to plan, which it never does, so it won't be this, is supposed to be Brazil in Miami.
Oh, it's very hot, isn't it, Miami?
It's more likely that might happen.
But if England lose to Carlo Ancelotti's Brazil in a quarterfinal, are you going to say that's failure?
Well, I do look at Brazil's squad of players and our squad of players. I'll say we've got a better squad of players. When are we going to be confident then? With the squad of players that we've got.
Why should we be confident? They're obviously confident in Thomas Tuchel's ability to get the best out of the team, otherwise they wouldn't have offered him a 2-year contract. And actually, I listened to Simon's argument about this yesterday, in which he said it should just be at the end of every tournament, you decide whether or not the manager continues. And Alan Pardew, actually, as a manager, says that's what it should be. Like, you should actually go in, do one tour.
Yeah.
If you do well, you get another contract.
Agreed.
The issue here is that when you've got a manager who is as well thought of as Thomas Tuchel, if you don't tie him down after the tournament,
I get that.
Somebody else will come and get him.
I totally
so you're
agree.
taking a risk then, whether or not you want it. The market dictates that you have to make a decision before the World Cup, because otherwise you could lose him for absolutely nothing.
I totally agree. In a perfect world, it would be, you know what, the England job is the best job possible, and you should be thinking to yourself, if I don't do well at the World Cup, okay, I'm going to lose my job as the England manager.
But do you not think he will think that? If we do lose to Mexico in the round of 16, if that's how it transpires...
Sam said it's a tough game.
It is a tough game because it's in Mexico.
Very good team.
But England should win. England should win. And if they don't...
Jimenez will be...
If they don't, I think there will be some soul-searching. There will be some conversation with Thomas Tuchel and the FA, Well, actually, this tournament hasn't.
Could there be a clause in it?
I think there will be.
Could there be a clause?
I think Mark Bullingham sort of alluded to that yesterday.
Yeah.
He said everybody's got performance-related criteria in their contract, didn't he? Let's just talk about Manchester United quickly before we get sidetracked again, because he was asked yesterday whether or not Maguire, Shaw and Kobbie Mainoo are in the picture for an England recall.
They were always in the picture, but they are like more so now in the picture. I guessed that they were in the starting lineup, and I guessed right. That's why I wanted to see them. I wanted to see them live. I'm very happy that they are in a good run of form, in good shape, because they are back in the picture. March gives us the chance to have a last look at players before we need to nominate for our trip to US. So yeah, they're in the picture, and I'm happy because competition is on.
Is that him suggesting that he's going to call them up?
Yeah, I think if they stay fit and Manchester United keep winning games between now and March, I certainly think there's a good argument. I'd probably put Maguire maybe at the top of the list, bearing in mind that England have had a few injury issues at the centre of defence. Bellingham, I think, is going to be touch and go, so there might be some extra spots in midfield for Kobbie Mainoo. And actually, they could all be in, because obviously left-back has been a problem area as well. So, yeah, I think they've got every chance, Gabs.
100%. And I've been watching Dan Burn, and I know he's a fan's favourite and everyone loves Dan Burn, but recent games I've been watching him, and he looks like he's lost a yard of pace. He looks miles off it. So if I'm Harry Maguire, his performances, he should be in that England squad. You've got Stones coming back. Can he get some game time before that squad's been named? Gay and Konsa are your starters at the moment, you'd say. But Lewis Hall, O'Reilly as your left-backs, and the way Luke Shaw's playing, no reason why not. And Mainoo, no-brainer in that midfield.
A quick word on Jude Bellingham. It was interesting yesterday, the Real Madrid story, saying... Thomas Tuchel suggesting that they're being a little bit defensive about when he's going to come back and what the sort of rehabilitation time is. Are you a little bit concerned about that?
Not really, because I don't think you need to rush him back for March. We know what Jude Bellingham can do. If he's not fully fit, why risk him?
Well, it was thought that it was going to be back within a month. It's now thought that it's going to be between 6 and 8 weeks. He might not be ready for the March internationals. What does that mean?
I think, like Crookie says, we know what Jude Bellingham can do. It's that gives a chance to other players to come into the squad. Another player.
Does it mean that Morgan Rogers still is the number 100%. Number 10?
At the moment, he starts Morgan Rogers. If the first World Cup game was today, Morgan Rogers would be behind Harry Kane, 100%. But Jude Bellingham, we know what he can do. And you knew it was a bad one, Sam, when he was in tears.
Oh, God, yeah.
Someone like Bellingham to be in tears. You know in your body. I've done a hamstring injury before where I missed out in the England squad. I've been called up, torn my hamstring.
England B?
Away. Yes. No, see.
Remember your passport.
Yeah, but the hamstring injuries, you know, is a bad one.
Yeah. Just a very quick one, because we've got to go to the news. I know we started late because Alan was...
Alan can stay on till 10 past.
Yeah, I know. But quick word on Harvey Barnes. The fact that he's turned down the opportunity to play for Steve Clarke and Scotland suggests that he must be on the verge of an England cap.
I can't see it, to be honest. I'd have taken the Scotland cap. I think there's too much competition. Do you think he's going to be in the England World Cup squad?
I don't think
walk into the Scotland team, let alone the squad.
Marcus Rashford isn't playing enough football at Barcelona at the moment. Anthony Gordon, I know. Anthony Gordon hasn't been outstanding this season. Harvey Barnes, 12 goals in all.
You'd have a look at him. I mean, he's not. And by the way, I don't think we should probably. I think we should highlight the fact he's already got an England cap. He has played for England before. Harvey Barnes. He played a friendly against Wales, so there's every chance that actually he just feels as if he's English and he wants to play for.
You think he'll be in the squad come the summer?
I think it's a bit of an odd time for him to declare for England. I don't know about the summer, but I think he might get a chance in March. I don't think he'll be in the squad in the summer, no, but I think March is a possibility.
I think Rashford and Gordon I would have before him. I'm just saying on form this season and game time.
He's done really well.
Harvey Barnes has done well.
He's done brilliant. And goal scoring's been fantastic. 03717 223344. If you want to tell us what you think, so many text messages and calls. We'll try and get to as many as we can over the course of the next couple of hours. It's Sam Matterface, Gabby Agbonlahor and Alex Crook. We're here right the way through till 1 o'clock. Thank you very much for joining us on Friday the 13th. Apparently, we've got to talk about Valentine's Day later.
What's that?
Well, me and Crookie know, because I've sent him a card, obviously. This is talkSPORT.
Mo, what happened yesterday?
Candy.
What happened yesterday?
Candy, listen.
What happened?
Candy.
Listen. Mo, what happened?
Listen. We still gotta go. We still can do the double, Candy. The cups.
What happened yesterday, though? What happened yesterday?
To win.
Mo, what happened yesterday?
Yes, what is on? Listen, yesterday's game, like I said, I don't want to talk about it, Candy.
No, I don't want to talk about it. No, that's what we're talking about.
What is on? Listen, we're not talking about that. We're going to talk about tomorrow's match.
No. Here's what we're talking about. What happened yesterday?
Candy.
Yep.
Candy.
Yep.
Come on, Candy.
What happened yesterday?
Candy, listen.
Yeah, what happened yesterday, man?
I've said this all the time to you, every single time. I keep repeating myself. Liverpool have been done by VAR so many times. It's unreal.
You lost 2-1.
The referee was shocking, Candy.
You lost 2-1.
And do you know what, Candy? Yesterday, it wasn't a surprise to me. It wasn't a surprise. I mean, our team turned up in the second half. We were just absolutely superb. The boys were absolutely superb.
You conceded 2 goals.
Candy, what are you on about now? Candy.
Mo, you conceded 2.
Listen, Jimmy G, you can't say anything, yeah? you cannot talk. You got no room to talk. You
can't be blaming VAR, mate. You can't be blaming VAR.
Jimmy G, listen, your captain got sent off. He just done it deliberately.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines at 3 minutes past 11, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good morning. Ahead of Liverpool's FA Cup game at home to Brighton, live on talkSPORT tomorrow night, Arne Slot's selection headaches are keeping him up at night.
It took me a long time before I could fall into sleep, because I was constantly considering what options I have for the lineup or what I should do. Because indeed, do you play the same players again or the others? Is this a moment for the others, but which others, in which position?
Liverpool-Brighton is one of 10 FA Cup fourth-round games across the talkSPORT network this weekend, starting with Chelsea's trip to Hull City tonight. Now, Ali McCoist reckons Arsenal's draw at Brentford is a good point for the league leaders. He still thinks Arsenal are going to be fine.
It might just be the best squad I've ever seen in English football. I'm not necessarily saying it's the greatest team. That was obviously up for debate. But in terms of the 22 that they've got, can you ever remember a stronger squad anyway?
Arsenal host Wigan in the FA Cup, live on talkSPORT on Sunday. At the T20 World Cup, Blessing Musrabani took 4 for 17 as Zimbabwe beat Australia by 23 runs. Over at the Winter Olympics, Ukrainian skeleton pilot Vladislav Haraskevich believes he hasn't broken any rules over his crash helmet of remembrance, covered in pictures of war dead. He's refused to use a different one. The IOC banned him over what they call a political protest.
I should be today part of the Olympic Games, part of the competition, but not part of the hearing. And so we continue to fight for our truth.
Are you confident?
Of course.
We're expecting a decision from the Court of Arbitration for Sport later today. More at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
The High Court's ruled a decision to ban Palestine action under anti-terrorism laws was unlawful, and vaping could soon be banned in cars carrying children. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Rain or shine, our mobile tyre fitting service comes to you, so you can stay on the sofa this winter. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Rain continues to move south, with Northern Ireland and Scotland seeing some sunshine. Snow showers around the coasts, across the south staying wet and cloudy, but eventually clearing later.
Very good. Is it still morning? It is still morning. Yes, very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and we've got Gabby Agbonlahor here today as well. Big night tonight in the FA Cup. In fact, it's a massive weekend. We've got so many live commentaries for you over the course of the weekend. 4 of them on Saturday, 4 on Sunday, and Monday night we finish with Macclesfield against Brentford. But we start at the MKM Stadium in Hull, where Hull City take on Chelsea and they welcome back their former manager, Liam Rosenior, tonight to the club. Let's speak to the Hull City owner, Achun Ilakali, who joins us now. Achun, a very good morning to you. Be good. I'm looking forward to coming up to the MKM a little bit later on. What is in store for us tonight?
Of course, we are very excited. It's a very good surprise for us that we are welcoming our ex-coach, also a big team like Chelsea. We are very happy about the draw. I think it will be a beautiful night for football, for fans, for everybody. We are excited.
Will it be a beautiful night for Liam Rosenior? What sort of welcome is he going to get at your club?
Yeah, he is very loved by our fans. I love him too. So there's a very good relation between us. And of course, to see him as a Chelsea coach makes everybody proud in Hull. So I can say that he will be welcomed. And of course, the fans still love him. So we love him. Our fans love him. It's going to be a beautiful night for him. But I hope not as a result.
Achun, the fact you say you still love Liam, that does raise the question, do you look back on your decision to part company with him after just missing out on the playoffs with any regret? And could you have foreseen then that he would end up as Chelsea manager in the not too distant future?
Alex, this is a very interesting thing. You know, when for example, I make an interview and I speak, for example, 10 minutes good things about Liam, then I only say as a reason his style of football is for a good big clubs and not suitable for our club. And it is in the headlines. So actually, it's not easy to explain everything in short time. But I can say that at the end of the day, we are the first club who made him head coach. He started with us to his journey. I was expecting him, of course, to be successful. But if you ask me truly, I was not expecting him to be Chelsea coach in such a soon time. So this is a soon time that shows his quality.
You mentioned there that his football was more suited to a big club. Is that different under Sergei Yakirovich? Is he a little bit more adaptable when it comes to his tactics in the Championship? And is that why you've gone shooting up the table to fourth?
Yes, of course, you cannot be sure about anything before the season. But the reason we choose Sergei was completely that. You know, for me, of course, Liam's style is a fantastic style and good for big clubs. I mean, it needs quality in every part of the pitch. So from my point of view, if you don't have it, the team cannot deliver it, and it starts becoming not enjoyable for all of us. And as the results didn't happen at that time, we had this, missing the playoffs. So about Sergei, I can say that I know him from Turkish League. So I discovered his philosophy when he played with Kayserispor in Turkish League. I was the vice chairman of Fenerbahçe. So they are the ones who made our hopes disappear in Kadıköy Stadium, Fenerbahçe Stadium, with a draw from us. And they played so good. And I watched many games of Kayserispor, and my team also watched, of course. Then we decided that he's the right coach for us. And it works like that at the moment.
You got the 7th highest wage bill in the Championship. How important is it that promotion comes sooner or later? Sooner rather than later, sorry.
Actually, I'm not focused on spending money. So, yes, we have a good wage bill. But don't forget, at the end of the day, we were 2 transfer window banned, so we couldn't pay any money for the other clubs so that we can have lower transfer budget bills. In football, this is like this. If you pay 3 million, 4 million to a player for his club, you have lower wage bill. But if you don't pay too much money, then you have a bigger wage bill. Our wage bill is, yes, big. Our team is very good. I think our recruitment is fantastic. So I can say that we are a very strong team. And unfortunately, 10, 11 the players were injured until this time. And so that's the reason we couldn't show our quality as good as on the pitch, but the results are good.
Yeah, just worth pointing out that you're under embargo, aren't you? You had 2 windows where you weren't allowed to pay transfer fees, but you can bring players in on loan and free transfers, hence why the wages are slightly higher. Crook?
Yeah, I was going to ask, obviously you've got an overseas coach, but I'm looking at your team, Tune, and there's quite a British core there, isn't there? John Egan, John Lundstrom, Paddy McNair, Ollie McBurney, who's come in and scored a lot of goals. Was that a deliberate part of your recruitment process to sign players tried and tested in the Championship?
Yeah, you are completely right. I mean, this is my 4th year as an owner, so I'm getting experience too. You know, it's not easy to adapt to a league like such a league, beautiful league in England. Championship is the hardest league in the world, as you know. So you cannot bring your rules to Championship. You have to obey to Championship. You cannot say, this is how I do it. That's what I learned from Championship. So what I can say is, we just made a now, I think, fantastic mixture of experienced, high-quality Championship players, as you say, Longstrom, Egan, and young British boys like Charlie Hughes, and so many. And at the end of the day, some foreign players are also inside. So I can say that now the mixture is fantastic. We have the big boys like Cruxy, our captain, and like Lundstrom. They are the leaders of the team. Young boys we have like Gerhard, we have Miller, Bellumi, and we have some big talents. So I think our squad is really very good. I can say that the position of the team is good, yes, but I think we deserve it with this squad.
I bet you couldn't believe your luck when Bristol City let you have Harikawa. That was a big surprise, a bit of a coup to get him until at least the end of the season. What's the situation with the extension of the playoffs? I know that you're gunning for promotion anyway, and you may well end up in the conventional playoff system this year, and we may well see you in the Premier League next season. But you will have to vote in the upcoming AGM of the EFL about whether the EFL should expand its playoff bracket down to the 8th team in the league. Do you think that's a good idea for Championship, League One and League Two football clubs?
I mean, as a host owner, I don't like it. But for the league's excitement, for sure, it's better. Because how many teams have hopes will make the Championship more exciting. But it will make the playoff part harder. So I would say that excitement will be more, I think more people will be focused on playoffs, yes. But if I was the one to decide, I wouldn't choose it as a host owner. Because when you go to playoffs, it should be 4 teams like the semi-final of Champions League, you know. So it should be 4 teams, 2 big games, then 1 big game. 4 big games, then 1 big game. I like it like that. But of course, let's see what the decision will be.
Oh, of course, you would probably still have Liam Rosenior if it was that system back then, because he finished 7th.
Yeah, I mean, please don't focus on that much about his being 7th and I just gave up about him. At the end of the day, there are some philosophies in football, okay?
Yeah.
So Liam's philosophy is not the philosophy I like, but it's a different philosophy. I mean, you like macaroni, I like rice, for example.
I do. So, I love macaroni. You're right.
Yeah. So
it must have been that afternoon that we spent together that you ascertained that.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, when he came to us, we were in the bottom of the league and he took us to 7th place. So as a performance, being 7th was enough. So it's not the reason that, we are 7th, I don't go with this coach. No, in the philosophy is more important. I always look to the long future.
And you're clearly an owner, and we've had conversations about managerial sackings. You felt Manchester United probably should have got rid of Ruben Amorim sooner than they did. I remember being in Istanbul, and you said if you were in charge, Erik ten Hag, who was still in situ at that time, would have been long gone. What do you make of Nottingham Forest, Evangelos Marinakis, about to hire his 4th manager of the season? Is that on board with the way you would do it?
No, impossible. I mean, I respect, of course, the owner's decision, and I will never just criticize their side because we don't know everything like they know. But from the picture I see, a technical director who has been nominated as a technical director of manager of the month 1 month ago, and I think he has very good results. And I'm watching Premier League, and the way Nottingham Forest playing is fantastic, if you ask me. I mean, they are playing so good. I don't see a bottom team there. They are, and they were playing with this coach. I mean, very good. And I was saying that how unlucky they were. The goal chance they missed this week, 6-1 with a defender. The left back guy just passes the ball. One doesn't want to use it. Second one don't want to use it. Third one is with the goalkeeper, and he just kicks the ball out. For example, this is not for me. For example, if I was watching this game, I wouldn't be upset about the coach. For me, it was enough dominating game. They did everything, 30 shots. So for me, it was enough. I don't look at the results. If I was looking at the results, Liam's taking us from 20 to 7 is enough as a result. But I only look how the team plays. So my way of football is not the very same like many others.
Listen, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, 35 shots Nottingham Forest had during that game against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Atune, thank you very much. We'll try and see you a little bit later on. Hull against Chelsea is live on talkSPORT, 7:45 tonight. FA Cup fourth round action. It's the first of an absolute smorgasbord of live commentary from the FA Cup this weekend. What a fella, by the way, Atune Ilakali is.
Legend.
He once kidnapped Crook and I. And we were doing this show in Istanbul, and he came and joined us, and we had sort of like a bit of coffee and chat, didn't we, for about an hour.
Yep.
And then he said to us, have you ever been out in the Botphus? We said, no. He said, you should see my boat. My boat's only down there. You should see my boat. We said, well, we've got to go to the airport. We'd love to see your boat. But he said, don't worry. I'll get you to the airport. He rushed us down the stairs. He bundled us in the back of this Range Rover, got us on board his boat. He was driving the boat, by the way. He took us around every single landmark you can imagine in Istanbul in about 25 minutes on this fantastic boat at breakneck speed. It was unbelievable. And there was one point where we were going a little bit too fast. It's true. We were going a little bit too fast. Police came up. The River Police, what they call the River Police? Came up alongside us, and they were like, hey, what are you doing? And Atune, because he's a big guy, he's a big guy. In Istanbul, he is the guy, right? He just turned around and went, lad, it's okay, I'll slow down. And they went, go on, off you go. Brilliant, great fun.
So I'm sure tonight, are you doing the game tonight?
I'm looking forward to going up there tonight.
Any corporate seats for you?
No, I'm working.
Oh, you have to pop in for a drink in the boardroom. You have to go and see him in the boardroom.
I'll give him a shout afterwards, possibly. If we can. All right, thank you very much to Atune Ilakali, the chairman of Hull City and owner of Hull City. His team play Chelsea tonight, live on talkSPORT. Right, when we come back, we'll be talking more about the weekend's footballing action. We'll also talk about Nottingham Forest because they're just about to appoint Vitor Pereira as their new manager until the end of the season. They're fourth of the campaign.
Legendary retired referee Dermot Gallagher joins us here on the show. How are we, Dermot?
Hi, Majestic. Hi, Al.
Hi, Dermot.
Listen, let's just get your thoughts off that straight off the bat. We don't want to ask you no questions. You're the ref. Tell us what you saw.
I have to say, I get what Alan says, and I think lots and lots of people will say, give the goal. It keeps 11 against 11. It keeps everybody happy. But when you look at it, there's no doubt whatsoever Szoboszlai is fouled, and by Haaland fouling him, he will argue that stopped him clearing the ball off the line. But you go back, the only reason Szoboszlai gets that far back is because he actually hauls Haaland back. That's the first foul. So I don't think I think Craig has tried to play advantage because he thinks it'll be a goal.
Definitely, Dermot. He's played advantage, isn't he?
Yeah, he's played advantage, and bear in mind now that he can always bring that back if it goes wrong. So
but if you go to the second part, right, where Haaland fouls him, right, but the ball's gone in the net. So why didn't he play advantage there as well?
Well, he can't play an advantage for foul on Szoboszlai, can he? Because if the ball's in the net, the game, it's terminated, isn't it? That moves over. But if you actually look, that ball's not in the net when he pulls Szoboszlai back. And the problem there, Al, is that once
don't you think he see that, Dermot? Don't you think he see the first incident, right? And he's played on. Yeah. He's seen the second incident. He must have seen it. It was fairly obvious. And he still give a goal. That was the on-field decision, wasn't it?
The on-field decision was goal. That's correct. So all I can presume is it.
Hello, this is talkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and the Gab Father. We're here right the way through till 1 o'clock this afternoon. Live commentary of all the FA Cup games this weekend. We've got loads of great ones for you. talkSPORT app, the place to be. talkSPORT 2 as well. Nottingham Forest not playing in the FA Cup because they were knocked out by Wrexham on penalties in the previous round. And they sacked Sean Dyche shortly after being held by Wolverhampton Wanderers on Wednesday to a goalless draw. It left them 3 points above the relegation zone with 12 games remaining. Victor Pereira quickly emerged as the next cab off the rank. How close are we to that appointment, Alex Crook?
I think it's pretty much done. There was still some paperwork, I think, to resolve with Wolves because he's still officially under contract there, but they're clearly not going to stand in his way because I imagine they're still paying him some kind of compensation at the moment. I think it's a huge gamble for Forest. First time in Premier League history that a club have had 4 permanent managers in one season. It was interesting to hear Atun Ilikali there saying that actually Forest performances have arguably been better than recent results. But they've not actually lost many games in the last 10, have they? And Sean Dyche nominated for January Manager of the Month. I think if you're looking for someone to come in and firefight and steer you away from trouble, Sean Dyche is the person you want. And yes, Vitor Pereira came in at Wolves, gave them initial uplift, kept them in the Premier League, but he had players like Mateus Cunha to choose from. I'm not sure that Forest have got anyone of that calibre, despite the fact they've spent big. And people forget seemingly how it ended at Wolves. It was really toxic at the start of this season by the time he left the club. So I'd be more concerned about Forest going down now than if they just kept Sean Dyche.
And is this a whole example of having too much power in one man's hands, Gabby Agbonlahor? Because
this is probably an ego-driven decision, really, because if you're looking at the bare statistics, whether or not you like the style of play, whether or not you think that the players have been worked too hard, whether or not you believe that you should be consulting players about who should be the manager or not, the bare statistics tell you that Sean Dyche, has the best Premier League win percentage ratio that Nottingham Forest have ever had. Therefore, if you just take that ratio and suggest it will repeat itself over the course of the season, even with a little bit of wiggle room for blips, they'll get enough points to stay up. Should he have remained patient?
100%. And you have to look at the game that after he sacked him. They absolutely battered Wolves. 35 shots, the amount of chances that they missed. You know, they deserve to win that game. And what I don't understand as well is that if you look at his time in charge, 6 wins in 18 Premier League games for Dyche. Like you said, I've seen that yesterday. The best win percentage of any manager under Marinakis as well. I just think, why? Like, this Pereira appointment, what if it backfires? Are you going to give him the whole 12 games? Or has he got 8 games like Ange had? Do you know what I mean?
It's a mess, isn't it? Are they going to do what Leeds did at that end of that season, where they bought in Sam Allardyce for 4 games and tried to...
Do you know what he does need to do, though, Pereira, that maybe Dyche couldn't do, is get his team to score goals. Forest scored 25 goals in the Premier League this season. Leeds have scored 36, West Ham 32.
Yeah, but Victor
25
Pereira hasn't
goals.
got a magic sponge that's going to heal Chris Wood's knee injury.
Yeah, but how much money have they spent on strikers attacking players?
Yeah, but are any of them any good? I mean, James McAtee's been an absolute
Hutchinson,
disaster.
McAtee hasn't worked. Milton Gibbs-White's got to do more. Igor Jesus has worked, hasn't it?
We've got Lorenzo Luca, who scored in his debut, but, you know, I don't know how good he is going to be. He hasn't got a great history of scoring goals in Italy.
I wonder if Nottingham Forest fans are wrestling with a bit of a moral dilemma here, because they love the owner, and rightly so. He's the man who ended their exile from the Premier League. He took them back into Europe for the first time since the mid-1990s. But you look at the decisions that he's made this season, the reason they're one place above the bottom 3 is purely down to Marinakis, the fact he got rid of Nuno, the fact he hired Ange, which was never the right
before
fit.
Getting rid of Nuno. It was because he brought in Edu, who came in and changed the way that they were recruiting players and wanted them to change the style of play
Many of those players
going forward, that started the fractious relationship between the manager, Nuno Espirito Santo, and Marinakis at the end of last season, beginning of the summer.
So if they do go down, Gabs, will those fans have to blame the owner?
Oh, 100%. Because what Nuno Santo had 3 games. Yes, maybe his comments that he come out with, he shouldn't do as a manager, but you can repair that. You know, got a manager that got you into the top 7, got you into Europe. Everyone was scared to go to the City Ground. And I look at their next 5 games, Forest. Liverpool at home. Brighton away, who need a result, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a tough game. City away, Fulham at home, and Spurs away. Like, you could easily look at those 5 games and say, where is the win coming from?
Yeah, and I think if you go back to the end of last season, you'll notice that the drop-off happened before the end of the campaign. They only won 3 of the final 10 games of the Premier League season. They lost a lot of games, 5 games towards the end of the campaign as well, and actually that probably cost them qualifying for the Europa League by right, maybe even the Champions League.
If you're Anderson, you're saying, get me out of here, aren't you, in the summer, no matter what?
Well, he will, won't he?
Get me out of here.
He's played too many games as well,
White,
by the way, so
get
he
me
looks
out of
pretty
here.
crackered.
Should they have sold Gibbs-White?
Yes.
I don't see that it's worked out for anybody keeping Morgan Gibbs-White. But it's funny because Nuno was quite... He was quite agitated during close season. I actually went along to watch Fulham play Forest in the Algarve. I was on a family holiday, and he came out with some comments after that game saying the squad wasn't ready. And I watched the game, and I remember texting our newsreader, Max Scott, who's a big Forest fan, saying, I know it's pre-season.
Yeah, you're not sure.
But you could be in trouble here. And, you know, he knocked back and said they were only a couple of signings away. But I think Nuno saw the writing on the wall.
You know what's funny, though,
Well, they did sign more than a couple, didn't they? They signed a couple of dozen.
You know what's funny, though? This owner, Marinakis, wants Nottingham Forest to compete and get into the top 4 and compete. And look, his decisions could end up relegating his football club.
And the manager he fired could end up being the one who sends them down.
And this should have been a season of celebration for Nottingham Forest after qualifying for Europe for the first time since the days of yore. However, it looks as if it's going to be a fight right to the very end, and Victor Pereira is going to have to lead that. He should be appointed today. Also, I suppose we need to talk a little bit about Tottenham at some point. Are they going to appoint a manager at some point in the future? And who on earth is that going to be? And why would you fire Thomas Frank if you didn't have a ready-made replacement? Interesting. Discuss that over the course of the next hour and a half. Stick with us.
did you think that the Super Bowl would get such a thumping up against the Premier League offering of Liverpool, Manchester City? I thought it would be much, much closer. You're talking about a difference of 500 million.
You are. But you're talking about, I mean, I've had this argument with Brian T. Smith, who comes in, who I very much like, and makes the case that the Champions League final, I'd say, dwarfs the Super Bowl, and he makes his argument about scale. It makes my argument. Of course it makes my argument. But then you have to look back underneath it and say, this is a worldwide global audience that's watching the Premier League, watching arguably the biggest game in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And you've got multitude of broadcast deals around the world for global sports. Ostensibly, despite inroads into various countries where you've had the NFL on tour and it's made its way into Germany and it's made its way into Poland and it's made its way into the UK, it's a North American sport. And so I'd be fascinated to see, outside of the North American broadcasting numbers, how many of the 220 million people that watched it were outside of North America.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to wager you that well, clearly it's obvious because the population of this country is only 70 million, that 90%, 95% of the people that watched the Premier League game between Liverpool and Man City was around the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And when the NFL gets its act together, which it's trying to do, and makes this a global sport, and makes it a participation sport and a viewing sport in all the four flung corners of the globe, it'll have numbers that are substantial. And 220 million people watching it. If I'm right in my thinking, 90% of that will be in North America. That's 50% of the population of North America, watching a sports contest.
Stuart Pearce says Arsenal's draw at Brentford was a good point for the Gunners, but...
Where they would probably be slightly disappointed, the downside of that is probably their attacking play and not being able to open up Brentford.
Well, Arsenal's lead is now just 4 points. Meanwhile, Brentford are just 4 points off a possible Champions League place. The Bees midfielder, Matthias Jensen, has told us playing against Mikel Arteta's side demands plenty.
Top players all around. The bench is top quality players, so... you got to be on it throughout the whole 90 minutes plus, so definitely very, very demanding.
Well, Brentford go to Macclesfield next. That FA Cup fourth round tie is live on talkSPORT on Monday night. Meanwhile, Arsenal host Wigan live on talkSPORT 2 on Sunday. We've got a grand total of 10 cup games live for you on the talkSPORT network this weekend. Elsewhere, we understand Michael O'Neill will be named Blackburn manager till the end of the season. He'll combine that role with his Northern Ireland job. Barnet boss Dean Brennan has got a 9-match touchline ban, a £2,000 fine and been sent on a course. The FA has ruled Brennan verbally abused female ref Kirsty Dow and referenced her gender. And Tyson Fury's boxing comeback against Arslanbek Makhmudov will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on April the 11th.
It's a joke. That is not funny.
What?
Sam Matterface Nagus Crook. I want to go outside then.
3-month probationary period.
When is
standard in employment law? Time now to catch up with the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. We're ready for the action. Are you? Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Right, and we're joined now by Dan Towles from BetMGM to look at today's top sporting events and discuss the latest odds. Hi, Dan.
Morning, gents. You all good?
Yeah, we're all good, thank you. Had a good week hobnobbing, have you, this week?
Sorry?
Have you had a good week hobnobbing?
Oh, I wasn't hobnobbing. I was at the Spurs-Newcastle game Tuesday. I managed to miss all 3 goals whilst entertaining, which is really good.
Well, there you go. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and then I was away abroad for a couple of days and then come back last night.
Of course
you were. You 3 this morning.
Of course you were.
He gets around, doesn't he, this fella?
He gets around more than you.
Well,
That's saying something.
If I have a second life, I want to be Dan Towles.
Yeah, crikey.
You definitely don't.
To be fair, your one's pretty good. And if you get a second life, that will obviously mean you're going to pass away. And you said you're never going to do that.
Not never. I just want to outlive clean living Sam Matterface, so I can say I told you so.
That's he said.
Probably while I'm doing the eulogy.
That's what he's going to do at the eulogy. He's just going to go, well, this is a turn up for the books, isn't it? We've already discussed it. Anyway, Premier League darts last night. It was a fantastic night if you were Gerwyn Price, wasn't it?
It was indeed, yeah. Night 2 was in Antwerp, but just a quick note on Michael van Gerwen, who, to his credit, has started very well this season. Obviously won last week. Lost in the final, as you mentioned, to Price, who walked away as the first ever Premier League winner in Antwerp, the score being 6-3. Price beat Jan van Veen and Johnny Clayton on his way to the final, but just despite being knocked out by Price, I suppose the game of the night was Johnny Clayton, who came back in his quarter-final versus Stephen Bunting. He was 4-0 down at one stage and he won that 6-4. So that gave him another 2 points on the board following the 2 points he achieved in Newcastle last week, and he now sits in 3rd place. But surprisingly, that's 2 weeks on the trot that neither pre-tournament favourites, Mr. Luke Humphries, have failed to make the final, and they both sit outside the playoff places at the moment, but there's still a long way to go, and the market still has them as the outright favourites to make the final when we get to the O2 in May. But based on current form, Mr. Van Gerwen at 7-1, he could be a little bit of a big price by the time we get to that finals night. Night 3 heads to Glasgow next week. As you'd imagine, Luke and Luke are still the outright favourites for that night, but we could see a little bit of a topsy-turvy event this season.
Well, Luke and Luke might well be the favourites for next week at the OVO Hydro in Glasgow, but Michael van Gerwen is drawn against Luke Littler in the quarterfinals next week, and we get a rematch of Clayton Price in the quarterfinals as well, don't we? So it's going to be a fascinating week of darts. Should we talk a little bit about golden goals?
I imagine you and Gabby do. I imagine there's someone sat next to you who doesn't. Yeah, golden goals, free-to-play game on the app, £250,000 for 6 correct scores. Prizes available for 2 correct scores and up. We had another customer get 5 out of 6 last week, so it is doable unless you're Alex Crook. So before we get to Alex Crook, we're going to go to... Actually, guys, last week you were all 1 goal out, I think.
I was a 94th minute Victor Gyökeres goal away from getting golden goals.
I was a Leno own goal, so clumsy these keepers.
I was a Donnarumma wonder save.
Hold on. No, you also got away with not conceding that 3rd goal.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
so
Sam, you got a little bit excited, didn't you? I was walking into Nando's with the kids Saturday night and went, I've got golden goals was the personal text. I went, you haven't. You went 2-0. So I was a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, well, do you know why that was? That's because I was baited by Gabby. He was texting me all day again. And right at the end of the day, he went to me, have you got golden goals? You've got golden goals. I think you have.
That's all I concentrated on the whole day.
What, golden goals?
I was like, please be a draw. But oh no, Leno, what have you done?
Right, let's go again this week. Sam, giving you Liverpool-Brighton.
Okay, if we can correctly guess the scoreline, the exact scoreline, BetMGM will donate £500 to our chosen charity, Prostate Cancer UK. Liverpool-Brighton. Look, I think Brighton need a victory, don't they, Dan? You'll know that more than most. 1 win in the last 13, Fabian Hürzeler. Not popular with the supporters, but popular with those in football, it would seem. 1-1, I'm going.
Yeah, I've got no idea what Brighton side is going to turn up this week. Liverpool, strong at home, but they have been prone to a few draws, haven't they? I think Burnley, Leeds and Sunderland have all walked away with draws this season. A 1-1 draw would be a 6-1 shout. Gabby, we've given you Villa Newcastle.
Yes, 0-0 draw start of the season. Aston Villa were down to 10 men in that game through concert, red card. This is a tough one because I'm sure Villa will make changes. You know, so many injuries they've got. Newcastle as well. They've got so many injuries. It's hard to see what teams are going to play, but I'm going to go for it. A 2-2 draw, I'm going to predict. And extra time is there? Or is there not extra time?
Extra time,
Extra time and penalties.
Yeah.
Yes, so
has to be decided.
Yes, I'm sure Aston Villa will do it the hard way in extra time.
Okay, yeah, it hasn't been a 2-2 draw. I've been reliably for since you were 10 years old, Gabby, back in January 1997.
That, yeah.
So
I was going to say that's a long time ago.
77.
Villa, Newcastle, 97. Villa v Newcastle, 2-2, 9-1 shout. And then the man, the myth, the legend, Alex Crook. 0 out of 28. We go on again. Birmingham versus Leeds, we've given you. And I can't believe the gall of you to go, you want a bonus payment if your prediction comes in.
No, I want a bonus payment if I go the whole season without getting one right.
No, I think what you should
I think
do,
that would be an achievement.
I think actually, if you don't get one right for the whole of the season, you should pay.
Yeah, you pay a big sum.
Unfortunately, the tax man takes most of my money. But what I was going to say, Dan...
You should have a word with Sir Jim then.
You do remind me about my bad predictions. But at the start of the season, correct me if I'm wrong, we were all asked to predict where our respective teams would finish in the table.
Hold on, are you trying to turn the guns on somebody else?
No, I went for Manchester United to finish 5th, and I think I'm right in saying that every position above 5th, I make a few quid, don't I? They're 4th at the moment, and you laughed at me when I said 5th.
Just to clarify, the season's not over yet. I did laugh at you. You have improved, but also I would suggest that when you were making your prediction, you were very much hammering in at the time because you suggested that pre-season they looked more energetic.
Yep.
They'd been putting better performances, and you were team hammering. 3 weeks later, turn around. No, he's not the man for the club. So anyway, that's a different competition.
Yes,
this is goal for
okay,
goals. Let's give me a prediction for Birmingham Leeds, please.
I think this has got banana skin written all over it because I think Leeds' priorities are elsewhere. I think Birmingham are going to want to try and make an impact. Obviously, you've got the Tom Brady factor, which adds some international interest as well as domestic. So I'm going to go 2-2, same as Gabs. What did you go 2-2 or 1-1? You went 2-2.
I remember.
But I'm going
3 minutes ago.
I'm going to call Birmingham to win on pens.
All right, so you're going to do something that you did last season. If the score is 2-2 and Birmingham go through on pens, I'll give you a little bit bonus pot.
There you go.
But Birmingham getting through, it's not, like you said, it could be a bit of banana skin. Since the start of last season, they've suffered fewer home defeats than any other side in England's top 4 tiers. Just one, which was remarkable. But a 2-2 shout is around the 9.5 to 1 mark. So the 3 predictions come in at 700 to 1. But like we always say, let's try and get some money for prostate cancer.
That Birmingham Leeds game's got sort of American interest on both sides, hasn't it? Tom Brady and the 49ers group that own a little bit of Leeds United. Packers versus New England Patriots against the 49ers. Will that sort of be picked up in America? I don't know.
Let's hope it's better than the Super Bowl was.
He's still moaning about the Super Bowl. Do you know he fell asleep during the Super Bowl? Like last week we had a Super Bowl party. He wanted to go to bed at 11 o'clock and I had to give him a blanket. No joke. No joke. I've got video footage of it.
I'm not surprised. The size of the pizza that I saw you two spraying down your necks, I'm not surprised you fell asleep. You went into a food coma.
6 Nations round 2 this weekend. Ireland, Italy, Saturday 2:10. And the Calcutta Cup, Scotland against England, 4:40 on Saturday night.
Is indeed, as you said, kicks off in Dublin. Irish host lost last week in France, but they come into this game as the very short price favourites at 1-14. Speaking to some more informed rugby experts than myself this morning, they feel that's a little bit of a very short price, considering Italy have improved year on year, and they obviously had an opening win weekend versus Scotland last week. Italians are just over 4-1 to cause a little bit of a shock. Calcutta Cup sees England, the short price favourites, to overcome Scotland at Murrayfield. England have now won in the last 12 matches in all competitions, which is ahead of a turnaround compared to where they probably were a couple of years ago. But they haven't won at Murrayfield since 2020 and have won just 2 of their last 8 against Scotland. So a little bit like the Irish, might be a little bit skinny around the 1-3 mark. Scotland just over 2-1. And finally, doesn't get any easier for Wales, does it? They host France. Welsh not won any of their past 12 games in the Six Nations, off the back of a big defeat at Twickenham last week. The betting handicap is set at 30.5, which I think demonstrates how big the gap is between these two sides. Wales are 15-1, France are 100-1 on.
Thank you very much, Dan. Hospitality Towels, where will we see you this weekend?
This weekend, no. I'm not home this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Valentine's
That's bad news for Mrs. Towles.
It's not. She's decided to take the kids to Euro Disney, so whilst the cat's away...
You'll be watching all of the live sport, I'm sure. Right.
Exactly.
Whoa, okay. Wandered into a little bit of controversy there. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app, 18+, begambleaware.org.
It's showtime on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Keep things golden with responsible play at betmgm.co.uk. 18+, gambleaware.org.
We're going to be heading to the Netherlands to talk to Raheem Sterling. Is that what you do? Is that the secret? Is it? You know, this little
switch the ring doorbell off.
Have you got Raheem Sterling?
Raheem Sterling. We'll be talking about him next.
Oh, we've not got Raheem.
TalkSPORT with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and Gabby Agbonlahor, and Selco's Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's Real Deal at Selco.
Stop enjoying yourself. Stop enjoying yourself.
SelcoBW.com.
With Arsenal all his life, and I just want to say that I fear for Arsenal again because I genuinely believe that Mikel Arteta sets out his team not to lose, whereas Man City set out to win. And I don't know how you win something by setting out not to lose. And this is the problem we have every year. We get towards the end, and he thinks that by not losing, getting a draw will be all right. But every time you draw now and the other team wins, you drop 2 points in the Premier League. Yep. And so he's got a tried and tested method of failing. And if my reasons for believing that are, first of all, I've never believed he's going to get us over the line after his first full season. If you look back, I believe there was a moment. There was 8 games left to play. Arsenal were in 4th place. We were 5 points clear of the team in 5th, and we had a game in hand, and we still managed to finish 5th. And every season since then has been the same.
That was when you went to Newcastle and lost, wasn't it? I mean, I think he's got a great point because you compare, we were there, Sam, for both games. You compare Manchester City's performance at Anfield to Arsenal's performance at Anfield earlier in the season. Mikel Arteta went there to not get beaten. Pep Guardiola went to Anfield at the weekend, even at 1-0 down,
Slightly different,
to try and win the game.
Manchester City are in a situation now where they have to win almost every game. They have to attack it, whereas Mikel Arteta has come up with a strategy where he's plotting his way through the course of the
I think
season
it's risky,
strategically.
and I think if they don't win it,
it's
it'll
a
be on the
low-risk
manager gap
approach in terms of the fact that he's trying not to play gambling football, but it could be one that backfires.
TalkSPORT, Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. Big weekend of football. 11:15 on Sunday. Go Ahead Eagles go to Rotterdam to take on Feyenoord. Will Raheem Sterling be involved in that game? He left Chelsea at the end of January after a mutual agreement was reached to terminate his contract after 18 months, with 18 months still to run. Let's speak to Marcel van der Kraan, friend of TalkSPORT and Dutch football journalist, who joins us now from the Netherlands to talk about Raheem Sterling signing on the dotted line at Feyenoord. Very good morning to you, Marcel. Thank you very much for joining us.
Morning, guys.
He was the club's highest paid player at Chelsea on over £300,000 a week. Why has he landed at Feyenoord?
Well, he certainly won't get that amount at Feyenoord. I think the maximum a player is on at Feyenoord is about maybe 1.5, 2 million a year. So, I think the fact that Robin van Persie approached him has made a big difference. He's admitted yesterday at Feyenoord that Robin's talk, the plans he has with Raheem have made the big difference in his talks with several clubs. Ajax were involved as well. There were other European clubs. There were Premier League clubs. But he said, my great chat with Robin has really made me want to sign for Feyenoord, and where he arrived this morning, as we all saw at the airport, and at the moment he's at the training ground.
They've got no chance of winning the league this season. PSV are absolutely romping the division. So what's the best hope that Feyenoord can have, and why does Robin van Persie want Raheem Sterling involved?
Well, Feyenoord have had a great start of the season. Up until November, they were top of the league, and then the club had the biggest injury crisis probably in many, many years. And they crashed down a bit, but they kept in the second position. And that second position in the Dutch Eredivisie is vital to get into the Champions League, which is worth a lot of money. Last year, they got about 60, 70 million from the Champions League, which in the Eredivisie means a lot to them. Robin's target was winning the league in his first season. Well, that's not possible anymore. But that second spot is really vital. He's got a few players coming back. He lacks a real top-class winger, and Raheem Sterling being available from Chelsea was really the icing on the cake for Robin. And he's got everything to go for, especially because Ajax are trailing, and he's in a great position to nail it this season.
I think as well for Raheem Sterling, we got some of his contract would have been paid off by Chelsea, so this doesn't have to be a financial move. The wages he's probably getting for 4 months will probably be minimal. It's about going and enjoying your football. He's still 31 years of age, isn't he? He's got a lot to offer for a manager he will respect, especially from his playing career.
Well, you're spot on there. I think this is what it's all about for Raheem. He comes into an environment which he probably needs after not playing for such a long time. The Feyenoord fans were queuing up this morning at the airport. They were singing for him. He was signing autographs. He will go into a stadium which is filled with 50,000 people every week. They've got a very loyal, loud, crowd. And he's already, before he's even kicked the ball, he's already a hero here. And I still have to see when he's actually fit, because he's only trained individual programs over the last 3-4 months. He's not been involved in a game, and Robin knows that he has to train him up a bit with the squad in the next few weeks. And he will not make 90 minutes immediately, but eventually I think he should be making that difference for Robin van Persie's side to get that second spot. And to go back to your start, Sam, he can't play this Sunday yet. His work permit is very vital at this moment because, he's from Great Britain, and he officially can't even train. So I'm just going over to the training ground in a minute, hoping to see him, but I doubt it if he's actually training with the squad today because of that work permit.
Okay, interesting. Of course, he's not an EU national, is he? So he has to get a work permit before he can prove that he can play. Interesting. What sort of player are they going to get when they eventually do get him? Because he hasn't played any real football for 18 months, really.
No, and Marcel's right. He has been training individually, and obviously there's a big difference between doing individual sessions and training as part of a team and even playing matches. So I think it'll take a while to get him up to speed. What's interesting here, a couple of strands for me. One, I understand that Feyenoord were keen to maybe give him a longer contract, but it was Raheem Sterling's decision just to sign until the end of the season rather than sort of handcuff him as he did at Chelsea to a long deal. And two, I'm told he held talks with several Premier League teams, including Everton. And despite the fact he's got a lot of admiration for David Moyes, he just felt that going to Feyenoord probably offered him more opportunity to play week in, week out in the first team.
He cannot take any risks now, Gabby. If he's at the stage of his career where he has to go to the club that is going to guarantee to play him every single week. And it sounds like, from what Marcel was telling us, that Robin van Persie sees him as a key player in the team, and that's vital for Raheem.
And also, we know for a fact that he didn't want to really leave London. That was a big part of it as well. So we're in February already. We've got 4 months left of the season. He can go there, see how it goes for him. And then in the summer, he can look at other clubs that maybe suit his family situation. But the money he's earned, the payoff he would have got from some of his contract from Chelsea. Now, go and enjoy your football.
Yeah.
We said that a month ago. Go and enjoy playing now in front of 50,000 fans, the atmosphere in the stadium. I'll be really pleased if he gets back to scoring and influencing games.
I hope he does well, because I think he gets unfairly pilloried when you look at the career he's had from when he burst onto the scene at Liverpool, the numerous trophies that he won at Manchester City, the international tournaments that he's been a part of. And as you say, he's only 31. I think a lot of the criticism is unfair.
Marcel, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming on today. That's Marcel van der Kraan, the Dutch football correspondent, who joins us to talk about what's happening at Feyenoord, and that is the acquisition of Raheem Sterling, who is going to be there till the end of the season. They're 17 points behind PSV in the table. Robin van Persie is their manager. We'll keep an eye on that on Sunday, I'm sure. This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor with Selco Builders Warehouse. Check out this month's real deals at selcobw.com. We're going to talk Tottenham in the next section of the programme.
The irony is, I think Arteta is one of the best managers to grace the Premier League for a long time. I think if anyone can, and I just think we just need to play.
Sorry, say that again. What did you say? Just say that Arteta's one of the greatest managers to ever come into the Premier League.
Yeah, can you not hear this evening?
But what are you on about? He ain't won that. He ain't won nothing.
No, but you know he's a young manager. Wenger came second 3 years on the trot, and then he won the league. You got to give these guys time. And you know, I think
you just said you've been found out.
Yeah.
So sorry. Do you say that Arteta's one of the greatest managers to grace the Premier League, or recent? I missed what you said. What did you say?
I said Arteta is one of the best managers.
Yep.
He's come into a club.
Yeah.
I don't know which one of you are talking, but one of you's a Tottenham fan.
No, go on. But I want to know what you said.
He's come into the club. He's changed the culture of the club from something which was.
Yeah, listen. Just say what you said.
Well, I can't remember what I said now.
I can't remember what you said. You said it. Did you say he's one of the greatest managers to grace the Premier League?
Yes, I did. Like what?
One of the greatest. One of the greatest.
Yeah.
To grace the Premier League.
Yeah. Shall I say it again and then you question me whether I said it again?
Yeah. Do it. Say it.
Yeah. He's one of the greatest managers.
No, that's not what you said.
The Premier League.
You said managers. You said managers. Anyway, let's get away from that because
No, I want him to say it again.
TalkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range, supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With your headlines at 2 minutes past 12, I'm Nick Ellaby. Good afternoon. Arne Slot's having sleepless nights over his squad rotation. He hasn't decided how many changes to make ahead of Liverpool's FA Cup game with Brighton live on TalkSPORT tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Slot says the biggest difference between Liverpool's European and domestic form this season is set-piece goals.
It's actually impossible to win the league if you have a set-piece balance like ours. You need to have plus 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No matter what you do in open play, to have a chance to win the league.
Brentford striker Igor Thiago's extended his contract by 5 years. That will keep him at the club until 2031. We're told Vitor Pereira's contract talks to become the new Forest manager are all but done. Our chief football correspondent Alex Crook isn't sure Pereira is the right man.
People forget seemingly how it ended at Wolves. It was really toxic at the start of this season by the time he left the club. So I'd be more concerned about Forest going down now than if they just kept Sean Dyche.
Meanwhile, we're hearing the former Dortmund and Leipzig boss Marco Rose is a candidate for the Spurs job, but Mauricio Pochettino remains the club's top target this summer. And ahead of the Six Nations weekend, former England forward James Haskell says if England beat France on the final day, they'll do the clean sweep.
I think this side is very confident. Now, normally in sport, there is many twists and turns, peaks and troughs, and people make me want to eat my words. But I think I'm sick of Omen and Aaron. So, yes, I think the game is England-France Grand Slam.
Scotland can have a say. They host England at Murrayfield tomorrow after Ireland versus Italy in Dublin. More at talksport.com.
TalkSPORT News.
Protest group Palestine Actions won a High Court challenge over the government's decision to declare it a banned terror group, and vaping in cars where children are passengers could be banned. More from the news team at past.
TalkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Rain from the north moving southwards. Northern Ireland and Scotland will see some sunshine. Snow showers around the coast. Across the south, wet and cloudy, but clearing up later.
It is TalkSPORT. It's Fun by Friday with Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and the late arrival Gabby Agbonlahor is just about getting into the studio after going AWOL.
Sorry, mate. I used to at half-time a lot, you know, in games.
It's okay. Did you? What, you were late out?
Yeah.
Did you get told off by the referee?
Yeah.
What happens in those circumstances? So why would you be late out? Because you were like chatting to someone?
I was going through the tactics with Martin O'Neill.
What was the real reason?
Okay, finish off my Red Bull.
Right, okay. So what would happen? Would the referee go to, come on, Gabby, hurry up, or whatever? Or would he be like, we'll just start without
A lot of the times, they just start without you. So you're literally sprinting on.
What, if you were late for training?
No, late for...
We're talking about half-time. Were you not listening?
No, I wasn't. No, sorry. I was working on some Tottenham
stuff. It was transfers.
It just reminded me of a story. Do you remember Lamana Lualua played for Portsmouth and Newcastle? We got to know him at Portsmouth. I went to watch him play for Olympiacos against Real Madrid, and I stayed overnight in his house, and we were just sat there playing PlayStation. The next day after the game, and I said, "Look, haven't you got a training session to get to?" He was late, and we rapidly made it to training, and the coach made him sprint around the outside of the pitch for about an hour.
Oh yeah, you can't be
because
late.
He was late.
No,
dear.
And actually, we got pulled over on the motorway.
Did you?
In a sort of Achunilikali style because he was speeding. Again, they recognised him, and the Greek police got to do some keep-ups by the side of the road and told him to go on his way. True story. That's a true story.
Let's talk Tottenham Hotspur, because they have sacked Thomas Frank this week, but it doesn't look like they've got a replacement lined up. We sort of follow this quite closely, these situations. Obviously, it's what we spend a lot of our time doing. And we're not getting concrete answers as to who they're going to appoint. So I suppose the question is, one, who's the favourite? And two, why did Tottenham decide to make this decision right now when they haven't got anybody lined up and ready to go?
Well, I think because the board there, the chief executive and the sporting director, Johan Langer, wanted to give Thomas Frank more time to turn it around. But I think they realised, even at half-time, from what I'm told, when they gathered in a bit of the huddle in the director's box, during that game against Newcastle, the things couldn't continue. They were 1-0 down at that point, lost 2-1. The atmosphere was toxic. There were lots of empty seats, actually, inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, as you'll testify. So I think that's why they didn't have someone lined up ready to go. We know that Mauricio Pochettino is their top target, as I mentioned earlier. He is obviously contracted to the USA at least until after this summer's World Cup. So it does look like an interim is the road that they're going to go down. They want someone in place by Monday. I'm told they're looking for an experienced coach just to steady the ship until the end of the season. Marco Rosa, ex-Leipzig manager, is someone whose name is emerging over the last couple of hours as a potential candidate. But speaking of Kevin Hatchard, our German expert, he thinks he might be reluctant to take it just on a short-term basis. So let's see.
Well, Marco Rosa has been in charge of a number of teams in the Bundesliga. He's a very experienced manager. He was in charge at Borussia Dortmund as well, wasn't he? I think very shortly after, who was he? He followed Peter Bosch at Borussia
Sounds
Dortmund. Right. He's been involved quite a long time in different types of German roles.
No Premier League experience, though.
He hasn't really got any experience outside Germany, I don't think. So it's a big ask for him to come in. I think it's quite well thought of in the Red Bull system. But obviously walking into Tottenham with no Premier League experience and taking on what is effectively a relegation battle is quite a big ask, isn't it, Gabby?
It's a massive ask, and you have to get it right. You know, we talk about Nottingham Forest and Pereira. We don't know if that's going to work out, but you have to get this appointment right. And I'm just worried for Spurs as well, Sam, because it doesn't matter to me who they get. Their next 6 games, Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Palace at home, Liverpool away, Forest at home, Sunderland away.
It's these head-to-heads, isn't it?
The best.
You know,
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
Forest
Massive
against
game.
Spurs is a huge game for whoever loses
They've
that.
all got Fulham to play as well, West Ham included.
Yeah.
Fulham have just dipped a bit, haven't they?
Yeah, well, they won't get relegated, but they'll have a big say on who does.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's scary times, and it's real now to Spurs fans. You know, maybe 2 months ago, everyone's like, no, you're just saying that. Everyone doesn't like Spurs. Now it's even Spurs fans that phone into this show the last couple of days, and they're agreeing like, yeah, I'm worried now.
Yeah, but it does feel as if, like, all of a sudden the realisation has hit everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that was sort of in the aftermath of the performance of the game against Newcastle, especially in the first half, where they were just completely off it. They just don't look like a team that are going to take a game to the opponents, even in their own stadium. And do you know what? It didn't help that then they sacked Ange Postecoglou, and then then they sacked Thomas Frank. Yeah. Then Ange Postecoglou comes out and has his say on what it was like to be part of the Tottenham Hotspur setup. He claimed, amongst a number of things this week, that they are not a big club. They are the antithesis of their famous "to dare is to do" motto. He went on to describe them as a curious club. He talked about the fact that when they finished 5th, he wanted to sign 3 players that would take them to the next level. He mentioned and name-checked Semenyo and Mark Gay. He said he didn't get that. He got teenagers instead. And although he thinks those teenagers will be very good, that's not what they needed at that time. He even sort of talked about them being Spursy, used that word during the course of the interview. And, of course, he said they're not a big club. And he was talking, I think, in terms of wages. But Alex Crook has been crowing about this for the last 24 hours because, of course, this has been his motto. He said, I felt like Tottenham was saying, we're one of the big boys. And the reality is, I don't think they are.
Well, it's interesting. If I've been saying that in an Australian accent and holding up the Europa League trophy for the past 6 months, maybe Tottenham fans might believe me a bit more because he's their hero, isn't he? Despite the fact he finished 17th last season. And he's right. He said all the things that I've been saying. They're a big club in terms of the training ground is fantastic. The stadium is the best in the Premier League, if not the best in Europe. But they're not a big club in terms of trophies won, in terms of global fan base, when you compare them to the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United and Arsenal, especially now that Son is not there anymore, because that did open up all kinds of avenues for them. And they're not a big club in terms of the transfer fees they pay, because Dominic Solanke is still their record signing at £65 million. And they're not a big club in terms of the wages.
Well, actually, that does make them a big club in world football because there's not many clubs that play that sort of money for players. Most of them are in the Premier League
club, though.
But wages is a big problem.
Yeah, but they're not paying pennies here. Like, what we're talking about here, maybe they don't pay £300,000 a week, but I can imagine some of the Spurs players are on close to 200. I would imagine so.
Well, they certainly shouldn't have a wage bill. Their wage bill is not 17th, 16th in the Premier League, is it? There's no way that can be the case.
No, but I also think what Ange was saying was that when he finished 5th in his first season,
we should be going.
But that was an overachievement, really, when you look at where Tottenham have been in the Premier League era. I know they had a few golden years under Mauricio Pochettino, but they're not an established top 4 team. They're not.
The producer just asked me, actually, would another Premier League club worry about hiring Ange Postecoglou because he was quite happy to air this?
He was quite vitriolic, I thought.
I didn't like it.
He was quite vitriolic.
I didn't like it. When I watched it and saw it, I thought, if I'm a Spurs fan here, and if I'm the hierarchy at Spurs, I'm thinking, oh, you got some nerve, haven't you? Yes, you won the Europa League for us, fantastic, but our league form was horrendous under you. You're part of the problem.
But the irony
isn't he just spitting truth?
But the Spurs fans have lapped it up. The Spurs fans have lapped it up.
So have you, because you've agreed with him.
I'm not a Tottenham fan.
Sam, but using the word Spursy, we know how that winds up Spurs fans when you call it Spursy. For him to use that word.
But hold on, Gabby. Isn't it about time somebody actually did just tell the truth about the situation there? Someone from the inside just come out and said, actually, do you know what? This isn't working. This isn't right. We need to do something about it. And the only way you're going to address it is if you do have someone with a bit of stature who understands the inner workings of the club coming out and telling everybody what it's really like.
Player reposted it, Richarlison. He's got some nerve, hasn't he? This guy, the chicken dancer, when he scores a goal, like
pigeon
chicken.
I tell you what the truth is, right? And this is not going to sit easy with Tottenham fans, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh God!
The truth is, Daniel Levy wasn't the problem. So when they celebrated that Daniel Levy had been ousted and it was going to be a bold new era because the ownership is different, it's the same owners that Daniel Levy was working for. They say they're going to prioritise sporting success. Their actions in the transfer market haven't shown that. In fact, I don't think they'd be in such a mess if Daniel Levy was still there, because I don't think he would have let the Thomas Frank situation go on for so long, and he wouldn't let the pupils have taken over the classroom.
Here's a stat for you. Spurs, since 2019, when they moved into their new stadium, have lost 45 games. Arsenal moved into the Emirates 13 years earlier. They've lost 49. That just shows their home form is atrocious.
Well, their home form is atrocious.
By the way, you had a go at the captain, Romero, for airing his dirty laundry in public, but it's okay for Ange to do it now he's left the club.
Oh, I didn't say it was okay. I said that isn't it about time someone does it? He didn't really do it, though, did he? He just said Romero is part of that machine, and he doesn't really have the sort of right to come out and say, you've got to take responsibility and show leadership, and then go and kick someone a week later and get sent off.
Well, this time last week, Tottenham fans were telling me I was wrong about him as well. He wasn't a liability. He was a world-class defender.
You're spot on, mate.
Crookie, the Nostradamus of Tottenham Hotspur.
You didn't need to be Nostradamus to work out he was going to be a problem, by the way.
Can they get their problem solved by hiring Ferencváros manager Robbie Keane? He's a former Spurs striker.
Come on, Robbie.
He's doing relatively well, actually, in Hungary. He did very well previously in Israel. So what are the chances of him returning to his former side?
Would you expect their invitation for you to become the manager?
I can't help speculation.
Can't help speculation.
That was it. I thought it was a lot longer than that.
If they call, I'm there.
He literally said, I can't help speculation, and then walked off. Fantastic. I was expecting quite a lot more from him. Wonder if that gives away its own story.
Could that be? Listen, if you are going to go down the interim route, and I think he might be reluctant to leave Ferencváros to come in short term.
There's no way he's going to leave Ferencváros where he could win the title and then go to Tottenham for 3 months.
But would you, if you were Tottenham, would you be more all in on Robbie Keane or Marco Rosa? Edin Terzic has been mentioned in the Telegraph as well. I think Robbie Keane could galvanise the fans, couldn't he? And play the type of football they want to play.
It's hard, isn't it, quickly, because we can all say yes to this. Like, a lot of people said Thomas Frank, great manager, Brentford, perfect. He should have got the Man United.
He is a good manager.
And it hasn't worked for him, though. But he hasn't showed it, has he? At Spurs.
Ferencváros are top of the table. Why would he leave now to get involved in a relegation battle for 3 months, which might harm his managerial career?
The only thing I would say,
he's not going to harm himself by staying at Ferencváros and turning it down.
But look at Ruud van Nistelrooy. What do you have? 3 games as Manchester United's interim manager, hammered Leicester twice. He got the job.
Yeah, but
if Robbie Keane comes in, saves Tottenham from relegation, they're probably not going to go down anyway.
Ruud van Nistelrooy got the job.
Got the Leicester job.
Got the Leicester
on the
job,
back of the United job. If Robbie Keane does come in, he picks up a few wins. Surely that's put him on Premier League radars more than what he's doing in Hungary at the moment.
Okay, I really wanted to hear from Kate, actually. I thought she was going to ring in this morning.
She did, didn't she?
Can I quickly ask you about West Ham? Because you weren't keen on them last week staying up. Me and Crookie said that they're in great form.
He said Turf Moor was a tough place to go, didn't he?
Comfortable win at Turf Moor.
No, I said Tottenham should go and win at Turf Moor. They didn't.
Have you changed your tune on West Ham? More chance of staying up now, or?
Do you know what? He was texting me all night on Tuesday night. You went early on West Ham. Look at them. They're thrashing Man United. I just sent him a picture at the full-time whistle of me holding a beer.
Said,
I think you might have gone a little bit early there, Gabby. Nice to hear Alex Goldbridge is at it again. Spurs fans are the most entitled fans I've ever heard after Arsenal fans. Well done, Salty, for calling out Spurs and their fans. Ash, the Newcastle fan. Ben Ross says Tottenham's ground is now a cultural arena for other money-making events. It also has a football team. Hi, Tottenham. Hi, Sam and Gabby and Alex. Read Tottenham. Andrew's right. There is no such thing as a so-called Big Six. There is the Big Five, and then the next Big Five, which includes Tottenham, somewhere in the middle of Aston Villa, Everton, Leeds, and Newcastle, with perhaps Nottingham Forest in there as well. That is their level. Adrian in Northampton, who is a Leeds fan. Keep your texts and your calls coming. 0371722 3344. That is the number to get in touch. Next, it's time for a little bit of love.
My view of punditry is when I listen to a pundit, whoever that pundit might be, whatever they may be, whether it's male, female, black, white, yellow, green, it's do I learn something from them? Do they engage me? Do I find them interesting and entertaining? And do they merit my attention? And that's my response to the reasons why I was saying the things I said.
He's sitting right beside you. Yeah, I you know, it's an opinion, isn't it? Which Indeed. We're all entitled to. I put value on opinions. Right, you have to, because there's you know where they come from, everybody has them, right? So I'm not going to listen to a mob on X who've never ever put themselves in any situation to do anything close to what I've done in my career. I listen to the professionals, right? I listen to the people who've hired me for the last 11 years around the world, the biggest broadcasters in the world. By default, if I'm working with the people who are considered the brilliant broadcasters, then if I'm in the same team as them, next to them, then by default, I'm considered also a brilliant broadcaster. So I take everything you're saying, but the reality is I've been good enough for 11 years, right? And as I said, I'm the person that will go and seek out feedback for someone to go, I think you're struggling. It's never happened.
See, the language that you use, Annie, is, to me, it's steeped in a sense of entitlement. I mean, the sheer weight of the entitlement that you seem to believe that you have would resink the Titanic. I think you've been quite fortuitous. I think because of initiatives like DEI, they've allowed people to be put into positions in the men's game that I don't think they've merited. And now that sort of seeds an attitude that you become a stalwart in the women's game.
Funny Valentine on talkSPORT with Moonpig. Save Valentines with Moonpig. Flowers and a personalised card for under £20, delivered in time. Terms and conditions apply.
This is talkSPORT. Sam Matterface, Alex Crook, and Gabby Agbonlahor. Now, we got told off last week, Gabby, for having far too much fun. You know,
that's what I signed up for.
Yeah, well, that's why I thought you wanted to be a part of it.
On Fridays.
Yeah, on Fridays.
It's not a coincidence he's a referee, is he? I'd imagine if he wasn't producing this radio programme, he'd probably be a traffic warden.
Yes.
And
when you get a ticket.
And he really enjoyed giving it to you, wouldn't he?
And guess what he just said in my ear? Oh, we're in a sponsored segment, so please behave. just to sort of basically illustrate exactly what he was saying. Now he wants us to have fun. Now he wants us to have fun. Now, because
you have to be a certain character, though, don't you, to be a referee?
Yeah. According to it is time for My Funny Valentine with Moonpig, where we'll be discussing our most memorable Valentine stories and situations. This is where Sam and Alex discuss their most memorable Valentine's days from years gone by, from disastrous dates to romantic rendezvous.
You're not in this?
I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, mate.
Well, it's interesting, Derek. You don't celebrate it. However, we've got a picture of you yesterday at a card store. Let's have a look on our YouTube if you're watching. Looking at Valentine's Day cards.
You wait till I catch you. You wait till I get it.
So there's a picture on our YouTube stream that we're doing right now.
You are something else.
Of Gabby, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
Ellis, you wait till I catch you afterwards.
Which one did you pick?
The cheapest one.
I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, and there he is.
Send that picture off. Hurry up. Why have I gone red?
Why have you gone red?
I don't know.
Who was that for? Was it for someone special?
For my partner, yes.
Oh, let's hope it is for your partner, or you're in big trouble.
I'm in big trouble now, isn't it? I could change the name on the card.
Because you told her that you don't celebrate it either.
1 second. Let me scribble that name out.
Oh, dear. Crookmeister, what was the most romantic situation you've ever found yourself?
Come on, Alex.
I'm not a big Valentine's person either, but it did flash up on my Facebook memories this morning, actually. February 2018. Picture of me and Mrs. Crook at Fratton Park. I took her to watch Portsmouth against Doncaster. I think it was 2-2. I just had to have a look there. But yeah.
Oh, dear. I had a romantic story from this week. Mrs. Matterface said to me, let's not do Valentine's Day presents this year. We don't ever really do Valentine's Day presents, to be honest with you, because we're a bit sort of like, no, we're not doing it.
She wins the lottery every day, doesn't she, being with you?
Yeah, because I'm never there.
Where does it end?
Yeah, where does it end? Exactly. Exactly, Gabby. Where does it end?
Birthdays, anniversaries.
Mother's Day soon.
You know what I mean?
Anniversary. We've just had an anniversary. It's all the time.
Save paper.
Constantly, yeah, exactly. Constantly buying cards, presents, and flowers. Anyway, she says, let's not do presents. I said, okay, fine. Let's just leave it. We'll just do a card. That's it. And she says to me, do you know what we could do, though? What we could do is we could buy something that we will both use. And I said, okay.
Like a new bin?
Like what?
Or a microwave?
Well, I thought air fryer. Yeah. I would have been all over that, by the way. We've got a nice air fryer, but a nice big one with a little pizza oven. I'll be up for that. Yes. Definitely. No. It's this mask that apparently reduces your wrinkles, right? And she wants to, I was like, you trying to tell me something? Do I need to reduce my wrinkles? I think she might be. She said, yeah, no, it's really good for your skin. It's really great. It's wonderful. Okay. I said, well, look, if that's what you think, and then, yeah, we'll do it. I looked at the price of this thing. It was like buying a car. It was so expensive.
But you did it anyway.
For a mask.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm a generous guy. I'm a romantic guy. I said, yeah, okay, fine. I'll buy you this mask. I'll buy us this mask, which is really for you, not for me, right? Get the mask. Went to the post office to pick it up because it had to be ordered or whatever. Took it back, little sign. Got this, got flowers ordered, all that kind of stuff, right? Valentine's Day. I'm going away now.
Naughty here or
naughty
mask?
No, not naughty mask. It's for your wrinkles.
I don't know where this is going. I'm scared.
A naughty mask.
A naughty mask, Sam. Is that what you're talking about?
It's not eyes wide shut.
No. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
Actually, I ordered it all off Moonpig, actually. And then she says to me, oh, okay, thanks for the mask. Fantastic. She says, I have forgotten, but if you want your Valentine's Day card, go up to my pyjama drawer, open it up at the back, your card's in there.
Had she written it? Did she want you to write your own?
It wasn't even in the envelope.
Shut up.
Serious. I bought this massively expensive mask. She told me to go and get my own card out of her sock drawer.
Listen,
Game's gone.
Call me
Game's gone.
Call me cynical.
I mean, is there a substitution coming there?
No, but call me cynical. But if your wife is asking you to buy yourself a mask for Valentine's Day, maybe that suggests a bit of magic has worn off.
maybe it is a naughty mask.
Maybe she doesn't like your face. And let's be honest, you've done a bit of work on your face already.
Oh, has he? Oh.
Well, that's not his nose.
Too far, Cookie.
Oh, dear. Joe, is that okay for the fun? You're okay with that fun?
That's it, too much fun.
Was okay.
Move on.
All right, okay. That was My Funny Valentine on talkSPORT with Moonpig. Everyone deserves a Moonpig.
My Funny Valentine on talkSPORT with Moonpig. Save Valentines with Moonpig. Flowers and a personalised card for under £20 delivered in time. Terms and conditions apply.
It's coming in that Thomas Tuchel is set to stay as England boss until 2028.
Oh, well
Hold
done.
on.
New deal.
Let me work this.
Fantastic.
How does, with the greatest respect, I'm not going to go at Thomas Tuchel, but the World Cup, the big test, is yet to come. How can you give him an extension?
Do you know why? Because there's so many clubs looking for a manager. Maybe they've got in touch and the FA thought, let's extend his contract. But the problem is, Al, we lose in the last 16. What are you going to do then?
Gabby.
He's got to go.
England, the manager of England.
Incredible, isn't
People would go on their knees to Wembley to get it.
Exactly.
So what the hell
that
is
sums
this
the FA
about?
up.
Who's making these decisions?
That sums the FA up, Al. Because you beat countries that you should have been beating in the qualifiers. You've been given a new deal, maybe because Manchester United need a manager. Look at Spurs now. It's incredible, but are we surprised, Al?
Well, I'm annoyed, to be honest. I shouldn't bother me because I'm Scottish, but I'm like, who makes these things up?
Exactly.
Gabby, how far, in your opinion, your expectations in America? Yeah, we know it's going to be warm.
The heat, yeah.
England, have England got to get to a semi? Or has it been a disappointment?
I'm sick of saying that, Al, to be honest. I'm sick of saying, we get to a semi, then you know what? Thomas Tuchel to lead us into the Euros. No, we have to win it. I'm not having the conditions. I'm not having it. Like Chelsea went and won the Club World Cup, didn't they, in the conditions? I know that's that wasn't the hardest of competitions to go and win, but we have to, Al.
Stuart Pearce says Arsenal's draw at Brentford was a good point for the Gunners, but
where they would probably be slightly disappointed, the downside of that is probably their attacking play and not being able to open up Brentford.
Well, Arsenal's lead is now just 4 points. Meanwhile, Brentford are just 4 points off a possible Champions League place. The Bees midfielder, Matthias Jensen, has told us playing against Mikel Arteta's side demands plenty.
Top players all around. The bench is top quality players, so you got to be on it throughout the whole 90 minutes plus. So definitely very, very demanding.
Well, Brentford go to Macclesfield next. That FA Cup fourth round tie is live on talkSPORT on Monday night. Meanwhile, Arsenal host Wigan live on talkSPORT 2 on Sunday. We've got a grand total of 10 cup games live for you on the talkSPORT network this weekend. Elsewhere, we understand Michael O'Neill will be named Blackburn manager till the end of the season. He'll combine that role with his Northern Ireland job. Barnet boss Dean Brennan has got a 9-match touchline ban, a £2,000 fine and been sent on a course. The FA has ruled Brennan verbally abused female ref Kirsty Dow and referenced her gender. And Tyson Fury's boxing comeback against Arslanbek Makhmudov will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on April the 11th.
It's talkSPORT, it's Matterface Crook and Gabby Agbonlahor. Now, yesterday, Manchester United released a statement distancing themselves from the comments made by their, well, I was going to say owner, but he's not really the owner. He's the shareholder who is responsible for football operations. That's Jim Ratcliffe. Manchester United underlining their deep commitment to equality, diversity and inclusion as the club distance themselves from their co-owner. The FA will look at whether Ratcliffe has brought the game into disrepute after claiming that the UK has been colonised by immigrants, remarks that drew ferocious criticism from across the sporting and political landscape over the course of the last 24 hours. The club felt moved to release a 221-word statement stressing how United prides itself on being an inclusive and welcoming club and putting considerable distance between them and the views of Ratcliffe. Manchester United prides itself on being an inclusive and welcoming club. Our diverse group of players, staff and global community of supporters reflect the history and heritage of Manchester, a city that anyone can call home. I must admit, I was very, very surprised by the comments of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, bearing in mind that he got his figures completely wrong on immigration. He said that the population had swelled by 12 million since 2020. Well, the population of the UK in 2020 was 67.1 million. It's now 69.3 million in the local estimate. So that was 2 million, not 12, funnily enough. So that was wrong. And the second thing is that, you know, I live in Manchester. It is a very diverse city. It is a very inclusive and welcoming city. And for him to be so out of touch with the football club and its fan base surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, for me, when I heard the words, for me, I felt they were disgusting words, and I felt for all the immigrants that have contributed and given a lot to this country. And coming from my background, you know, my dad come over here in his 20s, you know, to study, got a PhD in material science, went on to have 5 kids. My stepmom come over from Nigeria. She'd give 30 years service to nursing, psychiatric nurse. She was working through the night, contributing to the country as well. And even myself, you know, born in Birmingham, one of the proudest moments of my life, playing for my country, playing for England, you know, something that I'll always look back on, my kids will look back on, but also proud of my Nigerian descent. You know, my dad, my stepmom being from Nigeria, my kids have got Nigerian blood in them as well. So I just felt let down by the comments. And there's a saying out there, isn't there? When someone shows you themselves, believe them. You know, because he doubled back on the comments before the backlash and then sort of tried to apologise. So sometimes think before you speak. This was an interview with, was it Sky News, was it? It was a big interview.
An economic forum that he was talking at, and he was interviewed on the fringes of that, and he made those comments to Sky News, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, think before you speak, because is there problems with illegal immigration? Yes, there is, but he didn't say that. His words were immigration is colonising the UK, which is a wild statement.
Well, for someone who's made so much money, it's a surprise that he couldn't add up, which was the biggest issue. Well, it wasn't the biggest issue. That's not fair.
Of course,
it was just a wild statement. It was a big issue in the fact that it overinflated the real story. Manchester United have actually had a really quiet period over the last 4 or 5 weeks because Michael Carrick has come in. He's steadied the ship. He's calmed everything down, and everyone's been a little bit sort of more measured in the way that they've been behaving. The last thing that they needed was another distraction, another saga, and Sir Jim has brought it on top of them once again.
Yeah, and I think Michael Carrick will be relieved in some ways that Manchester United aren't in FA Cup action this weekend, because you can imagine the press conference, all of a sudden he'd have been having to answer difficult questions because his paymaster has made some frankly ridiculous and insulting comments. And it seems that for clearly a very intelligent businessman, he lacks emotional intelligence, Jim Ratcliffe, because every time he opens his mouth, he puts his foot in it. And he claims his favourite ever United player, which I don't believe anyway, is Eric Cantona. Well, Eric Cantona has a refugee background. His family actually emigrated to France. So there's a certain irony in that. The company that bought Manchester United is called the Trawler Group.
Yeah, but
in honour of Eric Cantona. Yeah. So it's all very odd. And then that's before you get into the number of foreign players in that Manchester United dressing room, many of whom I'm sure will be offended by Sir Jim Ratcliffe's comments, and the fact that United is the most global football club in the Premier League.
Is it or is it not relevant that actually he lives in Monaco and that
of course
himself
so he's a hypocrite
from the country
as well as an idiot. He's a hypocrite.
But I'll say as well, I put myself in that changing room at Manchester United in training ground. I put myself in some of the players, that are over here playing their football from other countries. And do you even want to continue to play until with an owner like this? I know he's part owner of Manchester United, but if I was in that dressing room, I'd be having big words with your boss and say, what's going on?
It does cause a lot of problems, doesn't it? It causes a lot of problems in the dressing room because you're sitting there thinking, what are you talking about here? Because there are players that obviously have come from different backgrounds. There's also players that have come into the country as immigrants who are working for Manchester United.
Yeah, it's completely inappropriate, and I think actually the comments are quite dangerous and divisive. And fair play to Jim Ratcliffe, because he's made himself, not just with this interview, but with the decisions he's made in terms of the cost-cutting measures that he's done, the redundancies and the brutal way he's gone about them at Manchester United. He's made himself as unpopular with the Manchester United fans as the Glazer family. And that takes some doing.
I mean, he will definitely have probably usurped that now, because there'll be a lot of people that are absolutely furious with these comments. And when you think as well, what it does as well is it highlights his situation, right? So there's MPs tweeting about the fact that he's worth 17 billion quid, but yet he lives in Monaco and therefore avoids paying £4 billion worth of tax. Now, whether those claims are right or wrong, it was Zara Sultana MP from Birmingham who had alleged that he was worth 17 billion and as a result of his move to Monaco managed to avoid paying £4 billion worth of taxes. When you think that he spent 2 point whatever billion it was to get hold of a slice of Manchester United, arguably you could say, well, if you stayed in this country, you wouldn't have had that money to buy Manchester United, or you could just give it back to us and we'll run it as a seized asset.
How many immigrants in Manchester? How many immigrant Manchester United fans?
Yeah.
And also, how much would £4 billion help the UK economy in terms of infrastructure? Maybe projects to build hospitals, roads, improve the railways. Quite a lot, I would imagine. If it is a fact that he has avoided paying £4 billion of tax by moving to Monaco, it's a little bit hypocritical.
And why doesn't he need a handout from the government to help build this fanciful new stadium, which I don't think will ever get built?
It's not the stadium that they're asking for a handout for. It's the infrastructure around the stadium.
Which will never get built, by the way.
The big thing for me in all this is...
It won't now, will it? Because he's upset all these political allies. Andy Burnham's annoyed with him. Keir Starmer's annoyed with him.
The thing that stands out for me, though, guys and listeners, is that people trying to defend him. There's nothing to defend here. He said what he said, and he
with made up
again.
Statistics.
He got asked, and he said, "Double down on it."
Well, he sort of released a statement, but it wasn't really an apology, was it? He just doubled down on the reasons why he made the comments in the first place.
He apologised for people
offending people,
being offended by the words he used. Yeah,
that's not really an apology, is it?
If I was him, just stop doing interviews.
Stop talking.
Just keep it short. because you're causing problems for Manchester United, historic football club with such a global fan base, second biggest club in the world. Just stop talking.
The irony is he handpicks his interviews. He'd never come in here with Jim and Simon, for example, because he might get asked some tough questions. And imagine if he does actually get put under the microscope, what's going to come out of his mouth then?
Well, the FA are going to put him under the microscope, that's for sure. And actually, when Mark Bullingham was asked about it at the Nations League draw yesterday, he said, I can't talk about it because it's being investigated. Rule E3.1 of the FA rules states that figures must act in the game's best interest and not act improperly or bring the game into disrepute, covering abusive, violent or insulting behaviour. It's a broad charge used for misconduct that damages the reputation of football, such as improper media comments. Will the FA charge him, do you think?
I don't know. That's the question for them. But the mere fact that Manchester United and their owner are under scrutiny from the FA is a really bad look. As you say, at the time when things are starting to turn around, they've won 4, drawn 1 of their last 5 games. Michael Carrick is probably enjoying the fact he's not having to answer too many difficult questions. And then Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the guy who signs his cheque, well, he doesn't actually, does he? The Glazers do, comes out and says this.
Yeah, it's a distraction that they don't need. If you want to get in touch, 81089 on the text, 03717 223344. Big games all over the weekend to bring you live on talkSPORT, the FA Cup. Hull City versus Chelsea. Hull have won just one of their last 35 games against Chelsea. It's 7:45 tonight live on talkSPORT with former boss Liam Rosenior taking Chelsea back to Hull. Wrexham Ipswich is also tonight. We'll keep you in touch with that as well. Tomorrow, Burton Albion against West Ham United, the first ever meeting between the two clubs live on talkSPORT. What a weekend we've got of football.
In the 2 high-profile times when I've accused anyone of racism or sexism, a High Court has agreed with me. A parliamentary committee has agreed with me. So, and I've got reams of evidence.
Oh, absolutely.
Of people.
You're talking about Mark Sampson and Joey Barton.
Right, but the point is, I'm not
but
the
that's
person.
the extreme end of the equation, isn't it?
Right,
what is the point?
No, but
Go on,
my
Annie.
point is, that's also replicated online. So there's reams and reams of evidence of people online.
But you did it to me. You told me. No, I don't have a problem with it because it's your opinion. You said to me about me that I'm a sexist.
No,
I don't think I am. I think I have a strident opinion. I have a daughter.
I think you pander to an audience.
Yeah, and that in itself
I think you
could be considered to be something that people would I could be robust in my rejection of it. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it,
Well,
and I like you should do. I only take the value of a people's opinion from someone whose opinion I respect.
Yeah.
Your opinion isn't relevant to me, and my opinion to some extent shouldn't be relevant to you. And if you are strong in the views that you have, I admire you for having the strength of them. But everything that you seem to portray in life seems to be that every disadvantage that you have is because either you're a woman or because you're black, and it's got nothing to do with your contribution to the equation and the way that people perceive you.
I'll always take responsibility if I think I've done something wrong. I'm the first person to apologise if I think, oh, I shouldn't have said that or that went the wrong way. You can find multiple examples of me apologising, but there is a reality that I do suffer sometimes a disadvantage because people abuse me for my identity. They don't actually focus on, I don't think she's a good person or good pundit because of X, Y, Z. They go into attacking your identity. Those are two different things.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
And this week, Sonny Snelling, Abby Summers and talkSPORT presenter Majestic have been discussing Thomas Frank's poor win percentage after the news that he's been sacked as manager of Tottenham. That's all on this week's Inside Spurs episode.
Hit the nail on the head there. I don't think it's time to, get the flags and the banners out just yet because, the doo-doo is about to hit the fan when it comes to the Premier League. That first half last night was an absolute disgrace to go.
Shambles.
Shambles, as Jamie O'Hara would say. But it's just poor. I mean, they're going through the motions. You're allowing crosses to be swung in. No one's closing them down. Another injury to Wilson Odobert. I was looking it up. I think Thomas Frank's win percentage is 26.9, which puts him as the worst Tottenham manager. I don't know if that I think that counts as permanent managers as well, and obviously the worst manager to manage a Big Six team if you take that into consideration.
Do you know how bad you've got to be, right? Think about all the managers we've had at Tottenham. Do you know how bad you've got to be the worst manager of all time?
It's bad, isn't it? It is bad.
Don't forget that you can watch all the latest Inside Series episodes on talkSPORT's YouTube channel right now. That's all thanks to BetMGM. 18+, be gambleaware.org.
Inside Series on talkSPORT with BetMGM. Watch the latest Inside Series episode live on talkSPORT's YouTube channel now. 18+, gambleaware.org.
Nice, yeah.
Blackburn have just confirmed the appointment of Michael O'Neill as their head coach. That's happened in the last few moments. And confirmation that Michael Carrick is the manager of the month in the Premier League.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
Yes.
You look at the teams that he beat, the impact that he's made. Long may it continue.
What about the last? Oh, it wasn't in January.
It's a point. It's a point. 5 unbeaten. Difficult to win 5 games in a row in the Premier League.
How long was he in charge for? He hasn't even been in charge for a month, has he? How's he won manager of the month?
I know he's not been in charge the whole of January.
Was he even in charge in January?
He must have been.
He took charge of...
What about the 20th of January?
Was that when he came in?
Well, the first game was Manchester City, wasn't it?
Maybe they're that shocked that Manchester United win a few games.
Has he won it joint with Amorim?
Definitely not.
It was a point on the 13th of January. Yeah. So he's won it joint with Amorim.
Wow. Darren Fletcher got a point at Burnley, which is a tough place to go.
So maybe
so they're going to share it.
Will they take it over to Portugal, Ruben? We've got the award for
I tell you what, at least we've heard from Ange Postecoglou. Ruben Amorim.
Oh, hold on a second.
He's yet to be fair to come out from under his rock, is he?
He was sacked 9 months ago by Tottenham.
Yeah, but I'm sure he released a statement at the time, did he not?
We've done our coaching badges together, mate. I still got his number.
You made this up. You made this up.
Can you ring him
about this?
No. Alex Bruce, the second year, done it with me. I've done it the first year with.
Yeah, well, we're not sure. Well, I want to see a photograph.
I've got it.
Well, show me.
So I'll phone him, mate.
Can you? Because there's a lot of Manchester United fans who would at least like an acknowledgement, maybe even an apology for setting the club backwards.
Have you got his number?
I've got his number, Rube.
Have you?
Rube. Yeah.
Did you teach him all he knows about coaching?
Yes, I did, yes.
That explains a lot. That explains a lot.
Do you know Crookie used to say...
Oof it.
And you'd know this because you spent obviously a lot of time with Ruby.
Yeah.
Crookie used to say he thought he looked like a sexy version of Ruben Amorim.
Oh, really?
It's a little curl.
I see it,
little curl at the front.
Bit of grey hair as well.
That was when he was pro Amorim.
We don't call him by his name anymore, do we?
Well, you just did.
I didn't.
Yeah, we got you.
The Portuguese.
You can turn on the manager, can't
the Portuguese fella.
Okay.
Well, you know the previous guy, Eric Ten Hag, was LBG, Little Ball Genius.
Was he Crook?
Yeah.
He won a couple of trophies.
Why did you turn on him?
Huh?
How come you turned on him so quickly?
Turns on everyone.
It wasn't quick with Ten Hag, and I still think he did a semi decent job. A far better job than the next bloke, Ten Hag.
Right, okay, let's hear from some of the managers that have been speaking ahead of their FA Cup ties this weekend. Arne Slott's got a tough game. He takes on Brighton on Saturday night. It's a huge match, this, actually, for both two teams who really do need a result. Liverpool can't afford, really, to go out the FA Cup at the fourth round stage. And he says trying to decide who to pick for the game is giving him sleepless nights.
I just said to Tony yesterday evening, it took me a long time before I could fall into sleep because I was constantly considering what options I have for the lineup or what I should do. Because indeed, do you play the same players again or the others? Is this a moment for the others? But which others? In which position? So I need another 24 hours to decide on the lineup.
That was Arne Slot speaking about the game between Brighton and Liverpool at Anfield on Saturday night. Liverpool have been eliminated from 6 of their last 9 FA Cup fourth round ties and were eliminated at this stage last season by
Manchester United. Oh, you should know this, Crookie.
Manchester United was the year before, wasn't it?
Plymouth Argyle, down on the south coast. Yes.
Okay, you should know this, pal.
What about Brighton? 1 win in 13 under Fabian Hertzler. Yesterday I read an article in The Telegraph which suggested that other clubs were interested in him and that he was getting frustrated by the data-led approach by Brighton and may well decide to jump ship.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that in terms of him being ready to leave. I do think he is someone who is well regarded within the game, clubs in England and in Europe. And they've been a little bit unlucky in some of those games. You know, they nearly got a point at your place in midweek. That would have been a good result.
Nearly's not enough, is it?
They lost in stoppage time against Fulham. They threw away a couple of points at home in stoppage time against Everton. So they're not far away. And I don't think the manager is the problem from what I'm told. The board are behind him. The players really enjoy what he does on the training pitch day in, day out. They haven't got a goal scorer. They've not replaced João Pedro. They're too reliant on Danny Welbeck. And I think that's something they're going to have to address in the summer. They'll be fine. They're not going to get dragged into relegation trouble. It will turn.
One winning, was it 1 winning 13 or 1 winning 14?
Yeah, no, but they nearly won.
But they nearly won 13 out of 13.
It was like when we did the talkSPORT darts trophy and Crook nearly won his leg, but he was actually the only one who didn't win his leg. He nearly won his leg.
For you two simpletons, they're not playing badly, are they, is my point. I'd be more concerned if they weren't before.
Talking to teams that are not playing badly, Aston Villa take on Newcastle this weekend, and Eddie Howe says, actually, what people need to understand about this season is it's one of transition.
The word patience is an understanding that they're rarely sort of accepted, I think, in I don't know, football management or when you're talking about your team, because people want sort of clarity on where you are. They want to know sort of whether you're good or bad, and in the middle isn't accepted. But I think for me, we were well aware going into this season it was going to be different for us because of everything that happened in the summer, as you say. We hadn't recruited in so many windows, and then suddenly we recruit 6 players. That's very, very different to how we had been working historically, apart from our first window. And with that becomes that change. Then we'd been so used to working with the same group of players, working one way, but a lot of those players, or some of those players, had left. And then we go into a new season with no pre-season and no training time with them. So I think that's very difficult. And it has ended up being inconsistent and a little bit up and down. Don't get me wrong, I think we could have done better, and that there's certainly things that we can improve, but I think longer term we'd be better for it.
That's the Newcastle boss, Eddie Howe. That game against Aston Villa is live on talkSPORT tomorrow night. Get the talkSPORT app. You can listen to all of our big commentaries from the weekend, and we've got a load of them for you. Newcastle have actually won 6 of their last 11 away games in the FA Cup, and they always beat Aston Villa, don't they, until this year?
Yeah, but not at Villa Park, they don't.
No.
It's always at St James's Park. Aston Villa do very well against Newcastle at Villa Park.
They didn't earlier in the season, did they?
10 men. We nearly had 11 men and nearly won, but
Newcastle's away form hasn't been good in the Premier League. They've lost 10 of the last 13 away from home in the Premier League. And, of course, this is Premier League opposition. And there's quite a few big Premier League teams in action this weekend. The best place to follow it is here. If you want a preview to all the weekend's action, the Premier League All Access podcast is out a little bit later on.
Good
and
pod.
I and Scott Minton will be with you again over the weekend. What you got this weekend? Where are you going?
Southampton, Leicester tomorrow, and then I'm off to Oxford on Sunday. I had a choice. They said you want to do Arsenal, Wigan, or Oxford, Sunderland. I thought more of a chance of an upset at Oxford. Although looking at their league form, maybe not.
He's got a mate in Oxford that he's going for a beer with.
Yes.
He's absolutely nailed on. Gabby, we going to Aston Villa on Saturday night?
No, I'm not. I'm spending the weekend for Valentine's Day. I've got big plans. I
thought you did. I thought you didn't celebrate Valentine's Day.
I lied.
Yes,
Sometimes you've got to put your partner first, guys, before work.
Get your mask out for the lads.
We'll see you next week.
Mo, what happened yesterday?
Candy.
What happened yesterday?
Candy, listen.
What happened?
Candy. Listen.
Mo, what happened?
Listen. We still gotta go. We still can do the double, Candy. The cups.
Now, what happened yesterday, though? What happened yesterday?
To win.
Mo, what happened yesterday?
Yes, what is on? Listen, yesterday's game, like I said, I don't want to talk about it, Candy.
No, I don't want to talk about it. No, that's what we're talking about.
What is on? Listen, we're